The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer! Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters, where we're going to bring you the news and reviews of some wonderful brews. My name is Dan Baker, and I am joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and of course the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
We are in the land of no left turns, my friends.
Hey,
handles.
I saw a shit ton of people making left turns today. I am just
They probably
saying.
did it illegally.
I am just... No.
We saw somebody make a left turn on the way here that, like, obviously had never done it before
Yeah.
and didn't know what they were doing.
Yes.
like a Pennsylvanian going through a traffic circle.
I don't understand this.
Look, kids, Big Ben. Look, kids, Parliament.
So we're in New Jersey
We
again.
are in New Jersey. For some reason, somebody wanted us back across state lines, and I guess the joke's on us at this point. I'm happy to be here. If I look out one side, there's an ocean, and if I were
No,
to
that's the bay, right?
is that the bay? If I look
the
out
bay.
one side, there's
Bay.
water. If I look at the other
ocean's
side, there's
that way.
more water. But that
Actually,
means
there's like a brick wall.
there's a brick wall there. If there weren't a building there, we'd be able to see the
Sorry.
water. I'm sure.
Theater of the mind. You were painting
Theater
a picture.
of the
I'm
mind.
sorry.
Yes. Thank you for destroying it. But we are in Long Beach Island, specifically Beach Haven, New Jersey. Specifically, more specific than that, we are at Ship Bottom Brewery, and I'm very happy to be here. We have two guys at the table who are kind enough to donate some time, one of whom astute listeners will remember from Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival. We have joining us again
Rob Zarko.
Rob, thank you for coming back to the show, man.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for having us out to your brewery. But we have a new friend of the show.
Yep, I'm Jake Stabline.
Jake, thank you for sitting down with us, man.
Yeah, of course.
You don't know what you're in for.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'd rather be watching Thor right
I guess I'm about to figure it out.
Yeah. In 2 hours, we'd be like, what did I do?
What happened?
Yeah, why did I do that?
Thor would be pretty cool though.
Yeah, Thor was on. We turned
I
Thor
like
off.
how you're staring at the television that is off.
And he's
imagining
crying.
imagining
Yeah, he's
it.
I'm
crying.
imagining that Thor is there right now.
More theater of the mind, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. Go to your happy place.
Yes. Well, speaking of happy places, beer. Beer makes me happy. We have a sipping beer. I want to get right to that because I've been sipping on this before we started recording,
It's
and
so
it is
good.
just damn delicious. This is it's the Tide. It's a lager, right?
Yes.
So what's the story with this one?
So we made it for our second anniversary, and we named it after. I mean, our brewery is currently located in what used to be a bar called the Tide.
Oh,
That
cool.
is an LBI legend, I guess.
Yeah, it was an 80s bar. Hair bands.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Oh, cool. Nice.
A lot of bands played here, and a lot of people had a lot of good times here. A lot of people tell me how they fell down the stairs. So we decided to name our second anniversary beer after the Tide, and we do a lot of crazy beers and a lot of flavorful beers. Not to say that this isn't flavorful, but for our second anniversary, I wanted to do something that was just like a nice, solid, drinking beer. So I made a 5.1% lager. It's we call it an American light lager, but you guys are drinking, and it's not necessarily light. It's not like a light beer.
Yeah,
no.
exactly. No, not at all.
No, American Light Lager was what my Mr. Beer Kit was. This is way better than that.
This
Yeah.
is really good. Perfect to start the show. I mean,
Yeah.
this
And
is-
it's so clean
It is.
and delicious.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a nice, clean, crisp lager that had some of the bready notes that our heavier lager, like the Barnegat lager, has, but still finished very clean and crisp and was good for the summer. So
Awesome.
there you go.
I very much enjoy this, and I'm glad that we started with a full pour of it, because after a 2 and change hour drive and fighting for parking out here, this is exactly what I need.
Yeah. You just need a beer.
Yeah,
Just give me a
exactly.
beer.
Not a
Although I
beer, I
will
need
say-
something like this.
I appreciate that all the parking is free. You may have to
Oh, that's
drive
true,
around
yeah.
to find it, but it's awesome that all the parking is free.
See, the trick was, and I shouldn't
The trick
say
is
this
to
when
keep
people
breathing.
are going to listen to it, but that parking lot that's out there, everybody's fighting over there. Just go across the street, go
Yeah,
on the other side.
that's what they said.
Nobody thought about that.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well for us.
Yeah. Well,
we do need to mention that it's also Labor Day weekend.
It is Labor Day
We decided to
weekend,
come down to the
so
Jersey Shore and
it's-
podcast on Labor Day Friday, so
Yeah.
that made it a little more challenging. But we got here with that much
I
issue.
prefer to
so.
say a little more adventurous.
Yeah, and a nice crowd of people here. So
It's true.
That's pretty cool.
Yes. Well, if you want to follow all the shenanigans on the interwebs, besides listening to us in your ear holes right now, don't forget you can find us on the Twitter and the Instagram at BeerBusters. On Facebook, we are Beer Busters Podcast. And, of course, there's also BeerBustersPodcast.com. There's that phone number, which nobody has used even as a prank call. Why did I say that? 805-991-BEER, 805-991-2337. And
I'm definitely going to prank call you now.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yay.
Why, yes,
That's what it's there for.
Prince Albert is in my refrigerator. Why do you ask?
I'm going to run out during the show and do it.
Nice.
And if you want to be involved in all the behind-the-scenes action, you want to listen to the bonus podcast Last Call, where we are all a little tuned up, let's say, and just kind of a little silly.
It's the free-form version of Beer Busters.
Yes. Patreon.com/BeerBusters. As little as $1 a month.
That's right.
And we've been talking about amping up some of the rewards.
Yeah, we have some stuff in the pipeline, in the works, working inside the pipes right now.
We're plumbers now?
We are, yes.
Don't talk about plumbers.
Oh, jeez.
That's right.
But yeah, so keep an eye out. We may be making some announcements soon about Patreon, some changes coming up. But Last Call, as I've said before, is worth the price of admission alone. So definitely check us out on Patreon.
This is where we would normally do the news, and things have happened. That's what Google's for, my friend. But we had something,
our social media
or our
pages.
social media. Yeah, we had something really cool happen. We were invited out to Yuengling as a podcast to interview one of the Yuengling daughters. We got to speak to Jen.
Yes.
And she was very, very cool. So we're going to play back that interview, and it was all about the Golden Pilsner that they just released, which is very, very good. If you haven't had it, you need to try it.
Can you see the sparkle in my eyes?
Every time you mention the word Pilsner, Steph's face
Spoiler
just
alert,
lights up.
it's very good. We very much liked it.
It is incredibly delicious, and I love it. But we need to share with you our conversation with Jen, so please enjoy. This is really exciting. Throughout our travels, we've been to many, many breweries, most of whom are under 5 years old, 10 years old. The occasional one that gets to be 20 years old. But today is a very, very, very special recording. So we've gone to Pottsville.
Woo.
Grew up right down the street. I've never actually been here, but we're at a brewery that's close to 200 years old. That could only mean we're here at Yuengling. It's like the hometown hero for beer, more or less. And we couldn't be any more delighted to have with us a member of the Yuengling family herself. We have Jen with us. Thank you so much for joining us. Jen, how are you?
Thanks so much. I'm great this morning. Really appreciate you folks coming in to visit.
Of course. Thank you for having us out here. This is incredible.
We are born and bred Pennsylvanians, so we know Yuengling very,
that's
very
awesome.
well.
Yes, yes.
As our listeners know.
Yeah,
of course.
We bring it up often.
A lot.
Yeah, it's I can't count how many times I've had Yuengling. Yuengling was the first beer. The lager was the first beer that I had when I found out that beer could have flavor, and it's been my mainstay ever since I could, let's say, legally drink. But I've gone back to many, many times, and it never disappoints. But we're here because Yuengling has a new product. And this is one that we're all very excited about. Wayne and I got to try it last week at a show in Bethlehem. Mm-hmm. And Steph, I know you've had it before. The Golden Pilsner.
Yes.
That's so exciting. The Pilsner is such an underrated style, in my opinion. It's great that's
it's making a comeback.
Oh, of course.
It's totally
yeah.
making a comeback.
Mostly thanks to Steph.
Pilsner is cool again. I'd like to think I had a little bit to do with that.
Maybe
Just
a little. But what was the impetus for Yuengling getting into a Pilsner? What started that? Because this is the first new product in, 17 years?
17 years,
Yeah.
yeah.
So why a Pilsner? Why now?
Yep, a couple things behind that. And I can tell you, we're probably more excited about this Golden Pilsner than you are.
I would imagine. Yeah.
So yes, this is our first new year-round product in 17 years. We've had some seasonals in between there, but we felt like we weren't playing in that refreshment category with our three core brands, our lager, light lager, black and tan. So we felt like with Golden Pilsner, we knew consumers were trending, gravitating towards this refreshment category. So we developed the Golden Pilsner. It took us about 18 months in the developmental process, and that includes everything from consumer research, our sales and marketing teams doing lots of research and sampling profiles, and really the recipe and formulation and product development, which is really the meat and bones of it. It was a lot of fun. Since we don't develop new products that frequently, I can tell you our brewers enjoyed it.
I can imagine.
Yeah, a lot of fun with it. We did samplings with it along the way, not just with our brewers, but we brought in our sales marketing folks and some of the other folks who work in the brewery, and really a collaborative effort that we're all really proud of.
Thinking about beer now, it seems like breweries can't make new stuff fast enough. So I guess my question is, 17 years, what took so long, perhaps, and why now?
Yeah, so I think innovation is, a lot of breweries' mantras. It's like the beer of the week type thing, and that's not really our business model. We, we live off of lager, light lager, black and tan. We have some smaller brands that they're popular more locally, a Chesterfield Ale, a Porter, Premium Light. And, we just felt that with the Pilsner style, we needed to be innovative, and we knew we wanted to sort of branch away from our three core brands and find this refreshment category that we felt this beer fits into.
Now, you describe the Pilsner as a modern Pilsner. So what exactly in the formulation do you think makes it something a little more of a breakaway from the traditional Pilsner style?
Yeah, so that's our take on it. It's an all malt brew. It doesn't use any adjuncts, corn grits, or anything like that. German noble hops. So we use both Saaz and Hallertau. So what you get out of it is a drier finish, not so sweet. And it's refreshing, it's crisp, it's highly sessionable. It's about 4.7 ABV, 135 calories, and we're marketing as towards the active lifestyle, outdoor activities, social occasions, different things like that. Like if you're camping, take a 12-pack of Pilsner along with you.
It's great at a concert, too, as Dan mentioned.
Yeah,
We tried
exactly.
it last week.
And great as a toasting beer at a beer event, too. Jen did one of the toasts this past Thursday at Meeting of the Malts, and I felt the Golden Pilsner was just the perfect beer. And they kept bringing out extra bottles because people were drinking it so fast, which is a testament to how refreshing it is. So it was perfect.
Thank you. It's well balanced and it's very well blended. So you have both the malt and the hop characteristics, and neither one really overwhelm each other. So even when you're pairing it with foods, it's delicate enough that it can go well with like shrimp or seafoods or fish, but it also can be hearty enough that you can pair it with stronger meats too.
Or pastrami, as we had.
We did have it with pastrami.
It went very
yes.
well with the pastrami sandwich. Now, so we had mentioned, at the top of the interview that Yuengling has been around for close to 200 years. It's
189 years.
That's
Yep.
what I thought it was. But nowadays, with craft beer having such a boom, there's so many breweries that are around. It's over 6,500, I think it is, operating in the U.S. How does Yuengling find a way to stay relevant and on the cutting edge?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I think a lot of brewers are probably looking at themselves saying, with all this competition, how do I stay relevant with my consumer, especially with all the hyper local brands and the consumer mentality. So I think there's a couple things that play into that. Number one, with our history, we really try and draw on that rich, authentic history that we have going back 189 years. We look at our previous generations, our ancestors, obviously the 5 generations before my sisters and I, and we draw off the work ethic, the attitude, the perseverance. We may be going through some difficult times with all of the competition, but it's nothing compared to the trials that they may have gone through with prohibition and wars and things like that. So that's the first thing. I think we draw on the history. But also the innovation now. So the Golden Pilsner, we feel like this is going to capture that younger consumer who isn't brand loyal. There's some promiscuity, if you will, among beer drinkers. They're jumping from one to another, and this beer will allow you to go out and enjoy it. Not just one beer, but you can have several of them and still feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think having a new beer from Yuengling, it gives somebody who maybe used to drink Yuengling, when they were younger and has moved on and become that craft beer drinker that always wants the new great things. Like, oh, Yuengling has a new beer, I'm going to try it out, and then it'll bring them back into the brand. So I think it's a great time to bring something new into the market. Definitely, yeah.
So you mentioned the family history here, and you being 6th generation Yuengling owner. What is the advantage to coming from a family-owned brewery, and what is it like working with your 3 sisters?
Yeah, it's actually, you folks being family business as well, so you get it. But my sisters and I, it works really well because I think we each have a different skill set, different level of what we do well and maybe what we don't do well, and it leads to a lot of diversity of ideas, collaborative thinking. Personally, I've gravitated towards the operations end of the business, which I thoroughly enjoy. When my sister Wendy, she does a lot of the administrative, HR, IT, sales, and marketing. And Debbie and Cheryl, they played significant roles as well as far as pricing, order services. So in that respect, I think we feel like we've got it covered. Now, that's not to say that it's just 4 of us running the business. Our dad comes to work every day, and he's very heavily involved. But we've got a great team, too. We've got a great leadership team on our operations side with plant managers, brewing managers, sales and marketing as well, with those VPs and directors. So yes, we're a family-run business, but we've got a great backup with us, too.
I'd imagine in 189 years, growth has always been something that you guys have thought of. And I know there's a brewery down in Florida now, and it seems that most beer drinkers in the country are familiar with Yuengling as a brand. Is the goal to eventually be a national brand?
So here's what we joke about. It's taken us 189 years to get into 22 states. So we don't
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady. That's our business model. We're very cautious in our approach. We want to, as we expand and develop into new states and new territories, we don't want to forget about the markets that we're in. So our home and our local market is very important to us, both Pottsville and Pennsylvania as a whole, and also Tampa and Florida. So most recently, we've expanded into Arkansas and Kentucky in 2018. We don't have any other plans for the remainder of the year. So what we're focusing on now are our core brands, the Lager, Light Lager, Black and Tan, now the Golden Pilsner. And I don't think we have any dreams of being a national company at this point in time. We just want to focus on what we do and do it very well.
We've got relatives in Nevada who would be thrilled if Yuengling would expand out there.
Well,
just
actually,
for the record,
whenever we go out there, I must take at least a 12-pack of Yuengling cans when we visit. That is a must.
That is the rule, or you're
That's
not
the
allowed
rule.
to come.
You can have a room in our house, but you must bring Yuengling. So it's definitely runs deep in our family. Now, is the Golden Pilsner available in the entire market?
It will be come September. And the way we introduced this brand, and as we rolled it out on April 1st, is we started with a select few markets within our footprint, so say 16 territories. And we did that for a couple of reasons. We wanted to be sure the brand had legs, that it was a good brand, it was going to be accepted by consumers, and then also from an operational standpoint too. We didn't want to overwhelm our 3 breweries with this new brand in 22 states right off the bat. So we're slowly rolling it out. By September, 20 of our 22 states will have it, and then our 2 expansion markets will have it by the end of the year.
We obviously, in our podcast, focus a lot on like newer, younger breweries, what's up and coming in the craft beer space. And I'm kind of curious to know, in the past 10, 20 years, as craft beer as a thing has become so big and so many small breweries have opened up, has that affected the approach of the business and how you approach brewing and beer? Are you guys just still like slow and steady, the same thing, just, like you said, hearkening back to your history, or has it changed your outlook a little bit?
We're sticking with the same mentality. We do recognize that so many of these smaller breweries now, the thing is to be as innovative as they possibly can and brew some of these brands that are very over the top in terms of a flavor profile, very heavy flavor profile. But I don't think that's what we were built around. And we realize we've been successful with the model we've had. We'll continue with that. We also recognize we have opportunities on site with our breweries. So right here in Pottsville where we are, we have a tasting room. We have growlers. So we allow consumers and patrons to come on site and experience our breweries where they are.
As someone who's consumed craft beer for quite a while now, I've officially had 10,000 unique beers according to Untappd. For me, I feel like I am circling back to the beers that I started drinking. And it's so refreshing to have a Yuengling Lager or now the Golden Pilsner. And I think many craft beer drinkers, or just beer drinkers in general, are gravitating more towards something that's comforting, that's reliable, that is well made. So I know I'm excited about it.
I think that's a great observation, and I think IPAs they still may be 30% or so of craft beer sales today, and I think it gets to the point where you can get oversaturated with these heavily hopped beers. Mm-hmm. We have a pale ale that we don't market very heavily. It's called a Chesterfield Ale, and we also made an IPL, which an India Pale Lager, which was our take on an IPA. And we felt they became, like that beer in particular, along with our summer wheat, which was part of our seasonal portfolio, became a little bit of a distraction, and it took away from what we did well. And we also feel like consumers are going to reach that plateau where they're going to be like, I need something more sessionable. I just can't continue to drink these heavily hopped 70, 80, 90 IBU beers. So that's where we feel like the Golden Pilsner will really fit in and bring consumers back to that sessionability.
Yeah, and I think anecdotally we could say that I think that sentiment is starting to rise even among like the young drinkers that are chasing the newest hazy IPA out there. Like more and more people are saying, okay, I want a traditional style beer. I want something that's just well made, that's not gimmicky, that doesn't have crazy things in it. So I think, the traditional lagers and the pilsners and the things that the Yuengling is producing are just what I think a lot of the younger generation of craft beer drinkers are going to start to turn to.
And quite honestly, I think those beers are not easy to make either. Like the Pilsner, the lighter style beers, like one little flaw and, you're going to pick it up. Whereas with an IPA, you can have a flaw and you can throw some more hops in.
Right.
Yeah, we kind of have a mantra that if you really want to know if a brewer's good, you taste their lager.
Yeah.
Amen.
You mentioned the IPL. You said that was a seasonal offering, or is that a year round?
That was a seasonal offering. So we had a seasonal portfolio of Summer Wheat, Oktoberfest, and IPL, and we've scaled back on that significantly this year. So now it's just our Oktoberfest, which is actually offered right now. It's usually the end of July through October, and we do have some out in the bar.
As soon as you said that, Steph's face just lit right up. That's wonderful.
It's the best time of year.
Yes, Oktoberfest beers are severely underrated. So earlier you had mentioned about the history of the brewery, and that just seems to be a mainstay of everything that Yuengling does. Now, obviously, 189 years, that there was a dark period in the early part of the 1900s. How did the brewery happen to get by during Prohibition?
So what we did during Prohibition, it was a third-generation owner at the time, Frank Yuengling. And he, in my opinion, may have been one of the most innovative, diverse thinking of the family members with the brewery. So obviously he couldn't make beer anymore. But what he did is he made near beer, which was 0.5% alcohol. So he kept workers working, kept people employed. And then the building that we're in right now, this was a dairy that he constructed. So he started making ice cream and milk and kept that business going until right about 1980. Cousins of our current family kept it going. But that's basically what we did during Prohibition. He kept his workers employed, kept the business going, kept the longevity of the brewery intact, which really we look back today, and that might have been a real milestone for us, so where we can say we are America's oldest brewery.
Yeah, and I think that serves a great point looking as far as employment and jobs and everything in the country to keep the workers employed during that period. And I didn't know during Prohibition that you could do near beer. I did not realize that was a thing. Yeah. That's great.
It was 0.5% alcohol, and it was legal in those days. And I think he marketed a porter too, which we called Pour Tour. You may have needed a prescription for that.
I love it. And when you do the tour here and go into the cellar, you can still see some of the brick walls that were put up during Prohibition.
That's correct. So we have the tunnels that were dug back in the 1800s before there was electrical refrigeration. So a lot of the lagering tanks and the storage tanks were down there, and it was naturally refrigerated, and that's where the beer would lager or age. So those tunnels are still there. I'm hoping you'll have an opportunity to take the tour this afternoon. You'll see those, but you'll also see where the government came in and forced us to build a brick wall and block off the back portion of those caves, preventing us from making beer and having the room and the storage space to try and get around the law.
Wow.
That's amazing. So much history. It's so cool.
It's definitely, and I know the two of you haven't done the tour yet, so
I know.
Excited
really
because I've done it so many times. But if you are a true craft beer fan and can make it to Pottsville, there is no brewery tour like Yuengling. I mean, no one else has the history that is here, and it gives you goosebumps when you're down there. It's exciting for someone that loves beer.
Thank you. We appreciate that. We feel like we give a great tour. It's unique, obviously. When you come during the week, Monday through Friday, our packaging line is operational. Our brew house is brewing. So you're right there. You're right there in the guts of it and experiencing what our workers do every day.
That's incredible. Well, we don't want to hold you too long. Thank you so much for taking some time out of a Saturday morning to talk to us. Thank you for having us out here, and I can't wait to have more of that Golden Pilsner because it is so delicious.
Yes,
it's incredible.
I am thirsty now.
After talking about it so much. But seriously, Jen, thank you so much for having us out here. It's been a dream of mine to get here. So thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. I can't thank you guys enough for coming in, and hopefully I'll have a chance to have a beer with you.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Huge thanks to Jen and everyone at Yuengling for having us out there. It was a wonderful time, and that was, as we had said, my first time there. Wayne, your first time there as well.
First time we did the tour. We took all the requisite selfies and whatnot. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. And we had mentioned the Oktoberfest in the conversation with her. We're going to drink some of that a little later on in the episode during Know Your Beers.
Yep.
Yeah. And a cool thing that Yuengling is doing, they are collecting cleaning supplies for not just affected employees, but anyone in Port Carbon who was affected by recent flooding with all the rainstorms that they had.
And they had more flooding today.
And there was more flooding today, apparently. Well, I guess it makes sense because it was raining. Yeah, as of this recording. So there's a bin in the gift shop that's there collecting cleaning supplies like peroxide or pine sol or mold cleaning products or bleach. And for the entire month of September, a portion of all in-store gift shop proceeds are going to be donated to affected Port Carbon residents. So definitely taking care of the community, which I always love to see in beer. You gotta help the people that support you in the local community, and it's just a nice symbiotic relationship. So kudos to Yuengling for doing that. That, though, brings us to where we are here. We're at Ship Bottom Brewery.
Yay!
Yay, indeed. Ever since we had you on the show at Atlantic City, I have just been dying to get here. And I'm glad we found
Yeah, I have to say, so I think if you didn't listen to the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival episode,
which you should, so
because it was a two-parter, you definitely should. Because
Rob's in part 1.
We podcasted for 3 days straight. No, Rob walks up like a boss with 2 flights, what they call waves of beer. Other people brought up like 2 or 3 little sample glasses for us to try. He walks up, he's got 2 handfuls of beer. He was immediately our favorite person. Yeah. So I'm so glad that we finally got to come down to the brewery.
And actually, one of my favorite beers that day came from Ship Bottom.
Gee, I wonder which
Yeah,
one.
exactly. What was it, the Baconator?
Oh, Baconator. Yep.
Baconator, yeah.
That's our holiday beer.
Oh, it's so good. Isn't every day a holiday when that's around?
Pretty much.
So,
Well, and we did the Hefeweizen too, the mojito.
Yeah, the
yeah.
mojito
Super
style.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was really
It was
good,
so
yeah.
delicious.
little lime and a little
mint.
mint.
Delicious.
well,
Love
I
it.
am glad that we made it out here to record and we get your own feature episode. Now, you had said that second anniversary just passed.
Yes.
When was the official date?
August 5th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
And-
happy belated birthday.
Yes, happy belated
Well, thank
birthday
you
to
so
the brewery. My question, I guess, comes down to Ship Bottom has a history in eastern Pennsylvania, but now you're in Long Beach Island. When do we count the anniversary from? Is that here?
Yeah,
okay.
from here.
Okay.
From here.
So what was the, oh my God, what was the name of the town in Pennsylvania you were in?
Longford in Delaware County.
Okay.
So that's how we started out. I started home brewing back in 1995. And then in 2011, I got a crazy idea to start a brewery. And basically found the website, thought about the name with Ship Bottom because my wife's family had a house down here. Started our first batch of beer in Ship Bottom, New Jersey, at the house with like a Mr. Beer kit. Went well. If it didn't go well, this would not be here. But it all went well. And then in 2011, incorporated and got my licensing in 2012. The garage brewery out of Wallingford's still there. Nice. So we still have that facility. It has a walk-in cooler in there. And we are dual licensed, so we have a license in PA, license in Jersey. We do distribution from that license in PA.
Oh.
So that's why we keep that license.
That's cool.
But everything started from there back
So
in 2011.
you said you brewed the first Mr. Beer here in Ship Bottom,
Yeah.
but then the Nano Brewery was in Pennsylvania, and then you came back here. So talk
Yeah.
about why the move to Pennsylvania and then why the move back
Well,
here.
Pennsylvania was my home. It was always my home. 4 small kids, a wife that, was supportive of what I'm doing, but to pick up and just move here and start a corporation and put millions of dollars into a brewery wasn't going to happen. So we started small, did the Nano Brewery out of my house, built up the branding, and really got things going. And then once the brand started growing, got investors behind us and put the money together to start this facility.
Very cool. So do you now live in Ship Bottom?
No, I live back in Philadelphia still, right outside
In
Philadelphia.
Delco, right?
Yep, Delco.
Wait, so how often do you drive that?
I'm here 5 days a week. Oh, my God.
That's
Yeah.
with traffic over 2 hours.
Yeah, well, we have a house down here, too, so I
Okay.
spend some time down here.
Okay.
And I'm by Jake, so I want to be around a lot.
Feeling the love.
Well, speaking of Jake, how did you come to be part of the Ship Bottom family? How long have you been here?
I've been here at this location since the beginning. So, and even almost the beginning with Rob in his garage. I worked at a brewery in Delaware, just outside of Wilmington, a place called Greenville, Twin Lakes Brewing Company. They're now in Newport, I believe. But when Rob first got started, cleaning kegs by hand is labor intensive and takes a while, and we had a keg cleaner, so he started bringing his kegs over to our brewery for us to wash, and I was the assistant brewer at the time, so I was washing his kegs for him, and I went to your garage twice.
Yeah,
and,
Jake helped me brew twice. He thought I was insane for what I was doing.
Yeah, no, I remember. I walked in, I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing?
It was like a Franken brewery, so...
You're freaking crazy, but can I come work for you?
Yeah. At the time, we just basically fabricated kettles out of stainless steel drums.
Yeah.
Everything was homemade. Jake came in and was just shaking his head, and I said, one day, I'm going to hire you. Let me find a spot. So
Yeah, and I moved on. I moved from Twin Lakes in Delaware. I moved on. I was then moved up to being a brewer at Duck Rabbit Craft Brewery down in North Carolina. Yeah. And I was there for a few years, and I get a text message from this guy one day that he says, "Hey, I'm finally opening up this place on LBI. We need a head brewer." And I said, "Yes."
Very cool.
And my first day on the job was I came into an empty building. And the riggers were arguing with each other. It was a whole thing. I'm like, all right, so here it starts.
So does that mean you got to design the brew space then?
It was already kind of like blueprinted out.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I do specifically remember a time where it really struck me that okay, this is what I'm doing when the riggers brought one of the first tank up through the door, and then they were trying to like pallet jack it around, and they're asking each other like, okay, where does this go? And the other guy's like, I don't know, ask him, he's the brewer. And the guy yells across the room, he's like, hey, brewer, where does this go? And I was like, okay, I guess over here.
Sure, why not? Funny story with that. The riggers, we received our equipment in May of 2016, beginning of May. It sat out in the parking lot in the back. So we're just sitting there, all the fermentation tanks, we're sitting there. I came around, I got chained, and I was locking it all together. A police car drives by, he pulls me aside, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm afraid somebody's going to steal these tanks, or they're going to float away in the ocean if there's a flood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he started laughing, he's like, nobody's going to take these tanks. I'm like, I'd be really sad, so I'm going to take precaution and do this. The riggers that were moving the equipment to the building were scheduled to do it before Memorial Day. What happened, they had a lot of rain that season, so they're backed up. I was going to be around. The following week, I was in Punta Cana. So they pushed it back a week. I was away. I'm like, maybe this is a good thing. I'll be away. No, not at all. I get a call like Thursday morning when I'm in Punta Cana, thousands of miles away, basically standing, hey, we can't get the equipment into the building. We can't fit it in. So I'm thinking like everything was custom made. They're squat tanks for 9-foot ceilings. Somebody messed up the measurements. I'm freaking out. They basically said that they couldn't put them through the doorway because everything's forklift in and out. We're on the second floor here. They couldn't fit them through the doorway, and the contractor didn't want to modify the doorway. So I paid the rigger $11,000 for the day to bring the equipment in. He was going to leave. I'm like, no, you're not leaving.
No.
Put the contractor on. I'm screaming at the contractor. I get off the phone. I'm in paradise in Punta Cana. My wife looks at me. She's like, you had to start a brewery, right? I'm like, honey, 2 hours later, we'll be fine. And an hour later, get a call. Everything's in the building.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about the building and that we're on the second floor. Putting brewing equipment on the second floor isn't necessarily easy. Not just getting it up here, but making sure the floor is strong enough and the drainage is good. How much work did you have to do to the bones of the building itself to make it work?
Not much for the structure. The structure, I think, when they bought it, I built it in the 60s, was built for withstand hurricanes, so it worked out really well.
Okay.
But the drainage is horrible here. Jake, he's one of the only brewers I know could brew with not having any water on the floor. That's an accomplishment.
That is impressive.
It took, yeah. It took, at first I was kind of kicking and screaming about it, and then I was like, it's going to make me a better brewer. Just learn a different way to work.
Are you also then the only brewer that brews in sandals? You don't really need the boots.
I think I am the only brewer that brews in sandals.
No,
yeah.
Colin wears flip flops too.
Well,
I give him
I'm sure he does.
Well, not anymore. Not in his new role, but
I don't recommend
previous
it.
roles.
I'm also I'm an idiot, not oblivious.
Yeah.
I might have to steal that. That's good.
Yeah, I think one of the things when I was hiring Jake, one of the attractions when I was talking to him about the space, because it's an ideal space, it's in a tourist area, we get a lot of foot traffic. I basically was saying to him, I don't know any other place that you're going to be able to come and brew and look out the window and see the bay every day.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's cool.
Boats going by.
Well,
We have beautiful sunsets. It's really nice.
Speaking of it being a tourist area, I mean, beach towns are obviously busier in the summer. What happens in the off season? Does the traffic die down that much?
I get really depressed. I go into shell.
Well, you guys are open every day during the summer, but in the off season, you're only open on the weekends.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. We scale back to like in September. We'll scale back a little bit, maybe. Trying to still figure it out. We still might be open 7 days a week. In October, we'll probably go to 5 days a week, and after that, November, like 4 days, and then probably down to 3 days after that.
Yeah.
So we're open all year, though. So if you want to come down, it's a great place to be. You don't have the tourist traffic. Sorry,
That's
that's
true.
a crowler filler in the background.
It's all right.
We're still working here and trying to get money in the door.
Background noise is
That's
fine
important.
as long as it involves beer getting served to
Yes.
someone. That's fine.
Yes,
Exactly.
We support that.
So speaking of crowlers, then you have crowlers to go. Does LBI let you have beer on the beach? Can people buy a crowler and take it out to the beach?
They can, but we're not saying that's legal.
Yeah.
So,
I got you.
I mean, it's
They
the-
could do what
the
they
beach
want.
is
No, you
right
do.
Once
there.
you buy it from us and walk
It's
out the doors
your
with
responsibility.
it's your
You
responsibility.
use a
You do what you
to-go
want with
coffee
it.
cup.
Yeah, I may or may not have done that in some places before. Yeah,
May or may not have.
It's a very good life hack.
we actually switched from, we used to serve, our first year was growlers, and then we decided to go to crowlers because the form factor was better for the beach.
right.
Yeah,
No, that's a good point.
Yeah, definitely. Do you guys then scale down your actual production in the off season then too? Do you have less beers available? Do you brew less?
No, actually, we have more, and Jake gets mad at me in the summer because I want him to brew a lot of the fruit beers. And he's like, I don't want to be the brewery. It just says fruit beers. But I'm like, that's what's going to sell me, and we could do it well. But that's in the off season. That's where it gets interesting. I think we do our better beers in the off season. So we do a lot of our double, triple IPAs, the stouts, which he learned at Duck Rabbit.
Yeah.
Became really proficient at doing that.
Right.
Really hearty beers and big beers.
Yeah.
And that's when we do the funner stuff, I think, and the stuff that really hits the mark. So.
I will say though that the whole the freshly baked series with the pies, that was really cool because that's a new fun take on the fruit beers, and I had a lot of fun developing those recipes because it's kind of a challenge. You're just like, okay, well, how do I make a beer taste like peach
Tastes like
cobbler?
pie.
I got to figure this out.
Well, speaking of which, you guys have one of those being released this weekend, Labor
Yeah,
Day
it's
weekend.
our
yeah.
final one.
The last one. It's the with the banana. What is it? Banana cream pie.
Yeah.
What were the other ones then?
So it was a peach cobbler, a key lime, and now banana cream pie.
Okay.
So we did one for it was July, August, and September release. So one for each month. And actually, I don't see any reason why we can't just keep it going. Just think of different pies.
There's a
think
million.
like
Well, honestly,
Shepherd's pie.
Pork pie.
the shepherd's pie.
Let's go savory.
Honestly, the idea was built around being down the beach, freshly baked for stoners.
Yeah.
And then we basically put the stoners on. So the first month we had on Spicoli.
Yeah. Spicoli.
He was for the
Peach cobbler.
Peach cobbler, and then after that it was Snoop Dogg.
Nice.
And now
Perfect.
it's the dude from Big Lebowski.
Oh,
so
man.
we had to think of more stoners to bring in and do it that way.
No, with the dude, I feel like you got to do a White Russian though.
Yeah. You could do the dude
Too late.
again.
Too late.
No, right.
You can bring him back.
You can invent both a White Russian beer and a White Russian pie.
Ooh,
That's true.
Ooh.
You think that'd be good? White Russian pie.
I would eat a White Russian pie.
I would eat a White Russian pie.
I would not.
I don't.
I would eat your part of a White Russian pie.
I don't even know what that is.
What, White Russian?
Like, so what? Like a white Russian is? It's like what? Milk and vodka.
Vodka,
Kahlua.
Kahlua, and cream, half and half.
All right, I could do that.
Yeah. It's my favorite mixed drink overall.
See, that's the thing with Jake. He likes that I challenge him, so I come up with these goofy ideas, and it makes him think. So he's like, well, can I do this, and how do I do this? So we're a little different. Like, when he was at Duck Rabbit, it was the same old.
Right.
And with us, it's always trying to push the envelope. Now,
Yeah.
we're not like Dogfish or other breweries where we do really funky stuff, but I think we do things that people really enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, but we also could do really funky stuff too. You know?
We do whatever we want.
We can do whatever we want. Yeah.
Do you have any crazy ideas kicking around now for beers that you want to do?
White Russian pie.
White Russian pie.
Well, now a white Russian pie. Yeah. No, actually, now that we've been doing this pie thing, I was thinking about at least in the late fall, early winter, doing like a pecan pie thing.
Oh,
We
that'd be
could
cool.
toast a whole bunch of pecans and throw them in the mash tun and see what happens.
That sounds
Or even if we
delicious.
could get them smoked. I don't know, man.
I feel like you have to do a blueberry
it's,
pie.
It's
It is
kicking
Jersey.
around in my head.
Yeah, we could do. Well,
That's
we do
true,
a
yeah.
blueberry wheat.
We
That's
do a
really
blueberry
good.
wheat already, yeah.
And that does really well for us.
Yeah.
People love blueberry beers.
Oh yeah. Blueberry capital of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense because I remember always coming down the shore
Yeah.
and getting blueberry pancakes. That was always the thing when we were at the Jersey
blueberry.
shore. Some of the best blueberry pancakes I've had in my life have been in New Jersey. Make a blueberry pancake beer. Put a little maple syrup in there.
Ooh,
Blueberries.
that sounds interesting.
It's not
That
out
would
of
be
the
good.
question.
Yeah. Getting a lot of ideas here.
Yeah.
You guys should stay around a lot longer.
I am actually.
writing these
You
Let's
know,
keep on drinking and come up with ideas.
I am actually for Chowderfest at the end of September. We're going to be doing a clam malt liquor.
Nice.
I love this.
I don't
face.
know what to
love
make
that.
of that.
I'm not sure either. We're going to see what happens.
That sounds disgusting. I'm sorry.
I know. Everybody's going to think that it sounds disgusting, but people are going to try it.
People
And-
will want to try it.
Well,
right?
you get more of the brininess out of anytime you use any sort of shellfish in the brewing process, like whether it's an oyster stout or anything like that. You get a lot of the mineral content from the shell, and a lot of the brininess from obviously them being in the salt water. So it's not like a lot of people just assume it's going to be like fishy or something, and it's mostly just going to be like a dry, slightly salty, like golden beer that people would normally drink. The thing of it, it goes at, but
Yeah.
not sour.
Right. See that?
Interesting.
So, but when you say clam malt liquor, people are immediately like, ew.
Yeah.
We're like,
It's the 30th anniversary of Chowderfest.
That's why I love
too.
selling
oh,
it.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's right out in the field, right in front of us.
Oh, cool.
They get 10,000 people. It's the end of
Holy
September.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
park on the ocean side, not the bay side.
Right.
Yeah.
We're actually not invited to the festival because it's a Budweiser event.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Last year I got in trouble because I took pictures of the beer cart, and it was all Budweiser brands, and I
Oh.
posted online. And we got so much chatter on social media within 15 minutes that Budweiser was alerted, and we were told to take it down.
Really? No
Wow.
shit.
Or
wow.
they'd lose funding for the festival.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yep, it's in our backyard, but we can't participate.
That's crazy.
There's so many things I could say about that, but I won't. I'm just gonna conveniently
We
take
try
a
to
sip.
stay positive here on Beer
I
Busters
actually like it
podcast.
that we're not involved because people go out there and drink that.
They get
and
tired of the
wanna-
shitty beer and they
wanna
come
come
here.
in, drink good beer, so they come
Yeah.
to us.
Yeah.
So we're
And
good.
when you have this clam beer on, this clam malt liquor, even better. You know?
We're gonna
you
serve
serve-
it. We're gonna serve it in a brown bag.
Yeah.
Or in a bread
I was just
glass.
going to say in a bread bowl.
Yeah,
It can't be a bread
he's already
bowl.
done with that. That bread bowl's gone.
Yeah, that went
That
quick.
has
didn't
another
last
menu.
5 minutes.
Yeah, he's already looking for more food.
That's Rich.
That's what he
how he
does.
does it.
He doesn't drink beer, he just eats.
I don't think we're going to get home.
Yeah, I saw.
Why is that?
Sinking Spring is completely
The-
flooded right
Yeah,
now.
the flooding's
Really?
pretty bad.
Yeah, my mom keeps sending me pictures. She said it's pouring into her basement.
Wow.
I don't know that we're getting home tonight.
Glad I don't live there anymore.
That's in front of my mom's house right now.
Wow. That's insane.
Wow.
That looks like
And we
down
brought
here.
the Camaro.
Oh,
would you
yeah,
do
that's right.
that?
Because they're trying to not put
We're
miles on
trying
the
to not
Subaru.
put miles on my car.
Still.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway.
So do we want to maybe pour some beers? I have a million
sure.
more questions, but we could
Yeah, kind of
maybe
stagger it.
choose the next four and
Yep.
go from
Okay.
there. All right.
We have a wipeout.
We have officially wiped out.
If only we
wiped
had a
it.
clip of that.
Yeah, I
We have
know.
be- we have
well,
begun
we'd
to
have
wipe
pay
out.
for it.
That's all
And
we can
done.
do.
But so I didn't know you had a wipeout. We had the wave at AC, which was like the surfboard one. But
Yeah,
this is
it's
the
4.
Yeah, this is the wipeout where it's a longer board, but there's 8.
Yep, and we're thinking about doing a tsunami, which is 16.
Oh
Yes.
my
Wow.
God, that would be amazing.
Yes.
That would be very difficult to carry.
Yeah. Anyway, how would that
Well,
work?
they have the skis for like the German
Yeah.
people do the shots off of. It's
Yeah,
like the same
that's true.
idea.
Yeah. I mean, I was even impressed seeing you carry the
They
wipeout.
could put wheels on the bottom of the tsunami.
People love these.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really
They're
cool.
unique. I've never seen anybody else do anything like this.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, what beer are we starting with? I know there's we did 2 sets of 4 on this
Yeah,
one.
I think the first one was a hop and hazy, so that's our hazy style New England. I don't like saying New England because I'm from Philly, and I'm an Eagles fan. And it drives me nuts. But it is
Northeast.
good beer. Yeah, it's good style beer. That's something we're brewing. Jake made this beer. It's Citra Mosaic, and I think it's great representation of style. 6% alcohol.
I like it. It's not overpowering like a lot of other New England quote style IPAs. It's layered, it's complex, and it doesn't punch my palate.
Yeah,
It's
and that's what
fruity.
and
It's
that's what we
fruity,
try
yeah.
to do with a lot of our beers. It's we want you to taste the beer and then get the other elements in the back end. That it's not overpowering one single element.
I always want when I'm designing a recipe, I always want everything to be. I think about balance. So I think about flavor profile, and I think about how certain ingredients are going to play well with each other, and all those other things. So I don't want you to taste too much of any one flavor. The whole idea when I'm designing a recipe is like I want everything to kind of come together into one experience. You know,
Makes sense.
It's very citrus. It's very like blood orange. I'm getting out of it. I really or like a grapefruit.
It's like juicy fruit gum to me.
Yeah.
Thanks to that too. Here's the real question though. Did you make this beer because you wanted to or because you had to?
Be honest.
I mean a little bit of both.
Okay.
I told Jake he had to, but we wanted to do it too.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't have made it on my own. And it's not to say that I dislike the New England IPAs or anything like that.
I do.
It's just
Completely.
really. My honest opinion is just I think that it's just a fad in the market.
I hope so.
And I don't think they're going to stick around. I just don't think they're going to stick around. There's a difference between a fad and a trend. And
that's a good point.
I jumped on the bandwagon. Like I was happy with them. I thought they were tasting good, and I remember the exact moment when I was drinking one once at a bar. I had the full pint, and I drank like 2 sips of it, and immediately just thought, it's like, that's not what I want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like I want to go back to the traditional West Coast IPA. Like,
Right.
There's a reason that the West Coast IPA has been around for 30 years.
Right.
Yeah, that being said, and we've made no secret of our feeling about this style on this podcast, but that being said...
This is a very well
And I don't want to,
Exactly.
full disclosure, I don't... I'm not talking shit on the style.
Right, no.
It is what it is.
Our
and
listeners
it's,
know it's us.
And it's cool, and it's cool that we're trying, as brewers in general, we're trying new things and trying to innovate new things.
Sure.
Well, what's interesting, one of the other IPAs that I've for you to try on the Wipeout was the Brewed IPA.
Yeah, I'm excited about
Actually,
this
yes,
one.
I am excited for this one, too.
And we're actually really excited about the style because it really dries out the IPA. So when you get to the final gravity, you add amylase, which is an enzyme, into that to clear out all the sugar, reduce all the sugar to zero Plato.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's pretty spectacular. I know Jake has done it a couple times now. Is excited with the style. We're trying to experiment more with this.
I'm very excited about this style, and I'm very excited about the way that it came to me. We had a customer in here that was from San Francisco, and talking to our taproom manager, Tara, about I guess this style is taking San Francisco by storm, and then quickly spreading across the West Coast. And I ended up hearing about it, and I just Googled it. I've never had it before from anywhere else, so I don't know.
So you brewed this without ever having tried the style?
And it was funny after when we were
Interesting.
tasting it, we both liked it, and Jake looks at me and he's like, "This is great, but I have nothing to compare it to."
Yeah, I don't know if it's right.
I don't know if it's
right, but it's good.
Yeah. I don't know if it's what we want or what we're brewing, but it was good.
It tastes really good, so I'll get my head outside the style, and I know I'm definitely going to keep doing this. I've done it with a couple different hop varieties. The first time I did it was with all Citra, which is a lot more juicy and fragrant. This time it was with Cascade and Citra and the dry hop. And I think next time I'm gonna keep leaning towards the more citrusy hops. Mm-hmm. Nothing against Cascade. I love Cascade. It's an OG, right?
Yeah, for sure. The original C's.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've had several brewed IPAs now, especially since we traveled so much this summer, being so many different places. And I've no two have been like at all.
Yeah.
Which it's exciting about the style because, it's interesting to try different interpretations of it. Now I'm interested to see sort of like the New England IPA. They've all started to taste exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'm curious if that's going to happen with the Brut IPA, or if people are going to keep it more unique. I'm enjoying that every time I order one. It's a little different.
I'm gonna have fun with it. I know definitely this winter I'm gonna brew a batch of it in our little tank and probably do our first sour IPA with it because I feel like it's the perfect candidate for a sour IPA.
For sure, yeah.
just feel like the possibilities are endless, really.
Yeah, and
There's so many different cool things I think you could do with this particular style of beer.
Not having had a ton of them myself, I think the new IPA trend, it definitely is much more of a canvas that I think you can put things in. Like this would be great in a firkin with some crazy fruit. Like, throw some strawberries, some mangoes.
Or even right in the glass.
Yeah.
Funny
like
you
champagne.
should say that.
Yeah.
We actually currently have this on cask with pineapple.
Yeah, perfect. There you go.
That sounds
and,
amazing.
and tomorrow we have it on cask with orange, so it's like
Yeah.
a mimosa.
Oh,
'Cause you
that's
want to
nice.
think of a brut champagne, what's
Yeah,
dry,
Yeah, for sure.
and you add that orange, so it's like a mimosa.
Yeah. So I think as a style, it's just more versatile than the New England
Well,
IPA. So
and
I think it's,
and I think that it's extremely delicious, and I think that it's also very palatable to people that don't typically drink beer. Which in our location, we get a lot of people that come up here that don't typically drink beer, but they're on vacation and they just wanted to come check it out and see what's going on. And this is a sort of IPA style where it surprises people.
Or we have the people that are drinking Coors Light, Miller Light, Bud
Yeah,
Light that
yeah.
come in. They're like, what do you have comparable to that? And we start handing them stuff that is
Yeah.
different and is off the charts, and they're kind of amazed.
Yeah.
We really have to convert people here because we're in a tourist area.
We're definitely in an education market here. So it's like I feel like the majority of our jobs are educating consumer that knows about craft beer but hasn't really ventured out into it, and they're on vacation, so it's a perfect opportunity. And this is a great introduction beer because it's nothing like Coors Light.
Yeah.
And it's definitely palatable to them, and they're just shocked that they like a craft beer. They're just they usually think that IPAs are just crazy bitter or whatever it may be, or just super thick or it's definitely interesting. So I'm going to continue to make them. I don't think we're gonna brand anything just yet, but I'm gonna continue to make them at least for the tap room and kind of keep playing with them. For
Well,
sure.
I respect that you want to jump on and try these trends because I feel like to be a successful craft brewery, you sort of have to. You guys have to pay the bills. However, you still respect the original styles and do them quite well. So I think you offer a balance of both worlds. I mean, you have the Brut IPA, you have the New England IPA, you have
Well,
your dessert
yeah.
beers, but you still make a really freaking solid lager.
Yeah, and I always say, like, as a brewer, like, I'm always willing to accept a challenge. Really, I mean, I want to continue to learn and grow. Like, I'm happy in the position that I am right now. I always say when we first opened up the brewery, I wasn't comfortable calling myself brewmaster, and now 2 years later, I'm like, yeah, I'm brewmaster. I earned that title, and I want to continue to learn and grow, and you do that just by trying new things. And I always ask people that have more experience than I do any sort of question, and just anything I can do to I guess keep it moving forward.
And get back to what you're saying, Steph, about everything tasting alike. I think when we're brewing stuff, we're going to do our styles the way we want to do them. So if there's a New England IPA, there's a brewed IPA, we're not going to conform to make it like the really popular ones. We're gonna do what we want to do, to how we want to drink it and how we want it to taste. So that's important to us.
Nice. I appreciate that.
I don't think I've ever had one of these.
A brewed IPA?
It reminds me of like what the Crystal Weizen is to the German portfolio of beers. Mm-hmm. It's like the American take on that, but with a shit ton of hops in it.
Because it's
That's
American.
what it reminded me
American.
of the first time I had it. Well,
See,
that's a good point. I didn't think of that. But
What I like about it
that's
is
what it reminds me of.
you get a lot of the flavor out of the hops, not a lot of like bitterness.
I
from
love
it.
the dry finish.
And
Oh,
it's,
for
it's
sure.
very dry, but also in a way there's something else that's there that I can't put my finger on. It's not bitter, it's not sweet, it's dry, but there's something else. There's a little extra special oomph that I can't pinpoint.
It's odd. So like I said, the first time that I brewed it, it was all Citra hops. So this time it was, Cascade, and then I did Citra dry hop. And the first time that we brewed it, the peach flavor was strong, and it was coming off of our like I used the same yeast as our peach cobbler. So I just kind of assumed that maybe the yeast picked up some of the peach flavor, which, I mean, it was supposed to be a one-off at the time, so I was like, whatever. And this time around with the Citra dry hop, I'm still getting a very, very subtle like peachiness
Maybe
to
that's
it.
what it is.
Could
like
be.
like on the back end. So since I didn't do any Cascade in the hot side, but Citra in the dry hop, I don't know. I don't know. I keep thinking about it now. I don't know. I'm still getting a lot of I'm still getting like a very mild peachiness like on the back end. But
See,
very dry.
The first thing that went through my mind when I took the first sip was, and not to say that the flavor of it was watermelon,
Right.
but almost like the texture and the mouthfeel of a watermelon.
It does
when
have
you
a
get
melony quality.
The extra juiciness out of it. Not a watermelon
Right.
flavor, but something you just
And the lighter
feel.
body of the
Yeah.
beer might be contributing
Yeah.
to that as well.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite things about brewing the style is like I'm definitely picking up a lot of flavors from the hops in general that I don't typically notice because it gets so dry.
Yeah.
So there's no like malt backbone.
Yeah, there's nothing competing with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just showcasing the like those hops flavors, you know. And it's been interesting. I'm going to keep playing with it. I'm very excited about it actually.
Cool.
I still have the taste in my mouth.
Although you have on the first one that you've done, you've already used the best name. So what are you going to
true.
call the rest of them? No, the I am Groot.
Oh yeah.
we need a baby Groot.
I had one called I Am Brute.
I am Brute. Baby
Yeah.
I
Groot.
remember where that was.
Baby Groot, teenage Groot.
I prefer Baby Groot.
That's a whole.
Adolescent
I hate
Groot.
naming, and if we're
Yeah.
going to go out with this in production and start canning this, we have to name it something. But
Right.
every time you go out for a name, it's always taken.
Yeah.
Oh, there are 7,000 I Am Brutes.
Yeah.
Oh, of course
I'm
there
sure.
are.
Yeah,
Of course
I'm
there
sure.
are.
I can't even find
7,000.
Yes,
Literally.
that was my immediate estimation.
Google has found 7,300,000.
No, I'm on Untapped.
Oh, okay. Of course.
Yeah.
The naming thing drives me crazy. We got a cease and desist. We actually brewed a beer, an IPA with hot peppers with one of our partners.
And why
Chicken
isn't it
or
on
Yay.
right now?
And it was it's very good. It hits you in the back of the throat, but it was called Killer Bee Sting. And Great Divide contacted me. And they had a honey bee sting ale, and they maybe do the cease and desist.
Wow.
Wow. Well, to be fair, you're not a real brewery if you haven't had at least one cease and desist.
Well, the funny story about
a rite
that.
of passage.
The funny
Yeah.
story about that was, I was upset we had to change a name. I got some time in the first GABF we went to. Had a couple beers in me. I was a little drunk, and I went up to Great Divide. Haven't drank them since, and I asked for the owner, who I talked to on the phone about the cease and desist. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm John," or I forget, Mike, or whatever it was.
It was Brian.
And it was Brian. And I'm like, "Oh, it's nice to put the face with your voice." And he's like, "I don't remember talking to you." And I'm like, "Yeah, he gave me a cease and desist," and he basically turned bright red.
Really?
And I just start laughing.
Oh,
he was like,
no.
"I'm so sorry," and that's all I needed to hear because I love their Yeti. I think it's one of the best stouts
Oh,
ever.
yeah, for sure.
So
You got to protect your brand. I mean, I respect
I
that.
agree.
I
I
respect
agree.
that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. As long as you can still be friends afterwards, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah. It's an amicable thing. Hopefully.
So we have next the Goza.
Yes.
Mango Goza. Is this just called Mango Goza?
yes, and this was a collaboration with 2SP Brewing.
Oh, this is a collab. We talked
Yeah,
about that
yeah.
at AC Beer Fest.
Yeah, and that was back. We brewed this back in May, so this was a beer that we were actually sooner than that, but we brewed. They came down here. Bob Barrar came down here to brew with us. We use sea salt from the bay that's right outside the window.
That's cool.
So we have a local restaurant, Black Eyed Susan's, that harvests sea salt. So it has sea salt from there, a little bit of mango extract. Jake could probably go in this a little better than I can.
Yeah, I mean, any of the fruit beers that I make, we definitely use like real fruit, like puree and stuff for them for the fermentation. But then I always like to put just like a little tiny touch of extract in there, just for the aromatics. Because when you put puree in there during fermentation, a lot of the aroma just
You just
kind of
lose it.
blows off with fermentation.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just something that I've noticed when it's like I taste the fruit beers that have a whole lot of fruit in them, but I can't really smell it. And it's like that's one aspect of your I don't want to say palate, but I don't know.
It's part of the whole experience.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, it's part of the
And
whole
a very important part.
It's part of the whole experience. So, and smelling is important to tasting. Really.
Smelling is fun.
Now,
Yeah.
you said Bob came down here to brew the beer?
You
Yes.
did, yeah. We had a good old time.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome that he came. Because typically when you think of collaborations, usually the brewery with the bigger equipment... I shouldn't have said it that way. Usually the brewery that has the bigger system...
Listen, size doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The bigger system is usually where you do the collaboration. So is this beer only here?
It was only here for the initial. We're going to start canning it next year. We got a good response from it. It took us a while to get the approval from the TTB for label approval, so we couldn't do it this summer. But next spring we'll start actually canning that and
Speaking
packaging
of
it.
canning, is Sly Fox still helping you out?
Oh,
with
yeah,
that?
definitely. Yeah, so they helped us out tremendously this summer. So we did 4 different beers with them. We did the Shack, which is our flagship IPA, Barnegat Lager. We did a Mexican Cerveza, again, using the sea salt from the bay, a little bit of lime hid in the back end of that. And then we did the blueberry wheat with them. And it's helped us keep beers on tap here and get beers out in distribution, so we're still using them.
Yeah, Jake, you wouldn't be able to leave if you had to rely on this
That's
system
true.
to brew in-house
pretty
and
much.
canning.
Well, that's honestly the first 2 years was kind of what it was like.
It was brutal.
I'm actually starting to feel like myself again, almost like a human.
We used to call him Zombie
But not
Jake
quite.
in the beginning.
They did.
He
They
looked like
called
he
me
was Walking Dead.
in the beginning, like when we first opened. I was definitely Zombie Jake.
That
It's
could
just
be
a lot of
the
hours
next
spent
stoner
here.
beer could be Zombie Jake.
I like
Stoner
that.
Zombie
beer.
Jake.
Yeah.
So we sort of talked a little bit about this while Rob was filling the, not tsunami, but the wipeout.
Yeah.
We are situated between a bay and an ocean, and
Yeah.
currently back in my hometown right now, there's major flooding going on. But has there been any crazy storms or crazy flooding or anything that you guys have experienced since being here the last 2 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get a lot of back bay flooding. Since we're on the second floor, it doesn't bother us as far as the equipment, but we'll have times where we totally flooded around the building that people can't get in.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts.
You should put like a ladder out the window or something. Like so when it's
We might have to do. Well, we're going to do boats, I think.
That's
when it gets
yeah.
really bad flooding, we'll
A
yeah,
gondola?
wherever wherever you go,
like a ferry
Paddleboard,
raft.
yeah, we could do
or
whatever.
a shuttle raft.
Yep.
You know, actually, about a month ago or so, we had like the flash
Hello.
flood out there, and there was kids paddleboarding down the street.
You could just throw the flight paddles out.
Yeah.
Hold on to this. Anyway, the tsunami, you should make it like
Buoyant.
buoyant. Thank you. Thank you for getting in my head. You should make it buoyant.
That'd be
so
nice.
It
Could float in the ocean or in the bay.
That would be awesome. That would be great.
I could see doing that.
So we have one more, and I am pleased to see it's a darker beer.
Yes.
I'm
It's a
sure
very
you
dark
are.
beer.
Oh, boy.
So
Please
this
do
is
that.
I
the
like all beers.
NYD 2018.
Holy shit, it's 10%.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I want to say for the record that I am so proud of that beer.
All right.
Aw. I feel like we should cheers to that. We're the
Cheers
only
to
two that
that.
have it in the glass right now.
Yeah.
So.
So
Cheers.
the backstory that beer is we do a I didn't cheers, sorry. The backstory of that beer is we do an NYE and an NYD. So we do a barley wine New Year's Eve every year,
That's
and we do
so
a New
good.
Year's Day beer, and then we do a keg drop. So the first year, last year we did the keg drop. It was kind of ghetto style. We rigged something from
Wait,
our
did
ceiling.
you say ghetto style?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
We rigged something from our ceiling, just total ghetto, and dropped the keg down with some lights around. This year we're going to do it up where we're going to have the fire company come out, do it with a ladder, have some fireworks, and
Well, that's cool.
release the beer, release NYD at midnight.
The bitterness from those dark malts is just
It's very nice. This makes me want a cigar.
delicious. This makes me want
It's a very lovely sipping beer for sure.
It's definitely a sipping beer.
It does not taste like 10%, though.
It really doesn't.
This
No.
beer would get me in trouble.
Yeah.
That's like the Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island's the same way. That's 11.4%, and that's our triple IPA. You can't taste the alcohol. Jake's
Oh,
very
no.
good at. He's very sneaky at hiding the alcohol.
Very sneaky. To be fair, they all get me in trouble too.
Yeah.
This is delicious.
It's
Oh my
really
God.
nice. This is a Dan beer. Dan loves these.
I
kind of
tend to
beers.
gravitate towards higher ABV beers because occupational hazard is it takes a lot to get me drunk these days. So I go towards higher beers, which are normally darker and heavy.
Well, plus he's also really into bourbon. So
Remember the Pleasure Island? That was one of the first beers you brewed.
Yeah.
So when we opened, with the ABC, we couldn't brew ahead of time. So they gave us the go to start brewing. We put a couple beers in a tank, and then we opened 2 weeks later. So we had 3 beers on tap. One was a pale ale, one was a triple IPA, and the last one was a wheat. We ran out of the wheat, so we had the pale and we had the IPA. People were coming in and drinking 11% beer, not understanding what they're getting into.
No.
It was a shit show. It was so wow.
It was bad there for about a solid week. We only had 2 beers on tap. It's like IPA or triple IPA.
Yeah.
wow.
Choose your poison. So you mentioned earlier, Rob, about the dual license. Can
Yeah.
you talk? I'm very curious about that. How this works? Can you talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So we got licensed back in 2012, TTB in the state of Pennsylvania, start growing the brand there. That allows us to actually open 5 tap rooms in Pennsylvania, which we're actively looking at adding a tap room, at least in Delaware County, maybe one in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's exciting.
And then with New Jersey, we have
And you're
this...
going to clone Jake.
Yeah, pretty much. If I can figure out a way. And then with New Jersey, I'm able to brew here. We're able to basically export our beer across state lines from here and serve it in Pennsylvania. So having that tap room, we'll be able to have anything that we manufacture out of this location, plus a beer out of Sly Fox, and pour that at our facility, ciders, wines, Pennsylvania spirits, everything ready to go. So that's how we're looking to expand.
So was that on purpose, or was that sort of just accidental because of your two locations that you ended up
It was
being-
kind of accidental, but it makes sense now.
Yeah.
So for $1,600 a year, I keep the license in PA, and we could distribute all around Pennsylvania. So we're around in Philadelphia County, the 4 counties around Philadelphia, so Bucks County, Montgomery County, Delaware County, and Chester County, and then we're in Pittsburgh also. But we're looking to expand that a little bit. So we're running about 120 barrels with Sly Fox with different brands a month. So right now we're doing 2 brands at 120 barrels, so that's 1,000 cases each that we're getting out in the market. We're looking to amp that up a little more and get more beer in the market.
How did you skip the rest of Pennsylvania? If you go from the East Coast, from Philadelphia, Chester, Delaware, and then
Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's actually
There's nothing in between.
Well, I mean, there's...
I didn't say that. Our distributor. So
We grew up in between there. It's
That's
fine.
true.
We use Philadelphia Brewing Company for our Pennsylvania distribution. They've been a great partner for ours, and they have a partner out in Pittsburgh that they send cases out to.
So it just
Okay.
worked out
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between Pennsylvania and New Jersey in your experience?
Left-hand turns.
It's a
And which
lot.
one- which one's
it's
better?
a lot easier in Pennsylvania. I'm surprised because growing up in Pennsylvania, it was so hard, and all of a sudden, with the liquor laws, it became more lenient in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
It's so restrictive in New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Well, and when we recorded at Gunpowder, Marty
Yeah.
said the same thing about Maryland versus Pennsylvania.
Oh,
as
true.
well.
Yeah, I forgot
So
about
as
that.
much as we complain about
Yeah,
the beer
well,
laws
and-
as a consumer,
The weird thing about the beer laws in Pennsylvania that we always bitched about was
and they've gotten better, we should say.
they have gotten a lot better. I think it was because they were laws that were more of a headache when you were a consumer.
Yeah.
And before, like, there were tap rooms and brew pubs everywhere. When you had to go, you could get a 12-pack at a distributor, but not a 6-pack. You know, you get 12 packs and cases at one place, but you have to go somewhere else for a 6-pack, and you can't buy it at a grocery store, you can't buy it at a convenience store, stuff like that. I don't know how the laws were, like, on the industry side, like, for actual brewers back then. Obviously, they've gotten a lot better now, but even on the consumer side. So I just feel like the laws necessarily maybe weren't more strict than somewhere else, but they were more strict to the consumer, maybe disproportionately.
Right. It seems like the law, except now with this new sales tax thing with brewers.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That's probably the first negative piece of legislation that's come out in a while. It seems like I think legislators are noticing that craft breweries opening in Pennsylvania is a positive thing for the economy of Pennsylvania. So let's encourage them to expand and encourage them to put more money into our economy. So it's a good thing. I feel like now that we have a sipping beer that we should
Actually
have
sip
some
on.
fun.
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to do?
I don't.
I think it's about time.
Is it that time? I guess it's that time. That's what the music means. Cheers, Internet, and welcome to Happy Fun Time Games, the podcast trivia segment that is not too full of itself to play the hits. Guess what, guys?
Oh no.
Libation
Can you believe
or fabrication
we've gone 5 whole episodes
without this game.
without playing libation
Wow.
Congratulations.
or fabrication? I know, it's crazy, right? A pallet just fell over by itself in the corner.
It
fainted.
couldn't believe it either.
It was like,
fainted.
It didn't do it by itself.
I
It's
got
the wind.
The touch of the vapors. All right, it was the wind. Fair enough. So anyway, for the
Jake, you gotta
uninitiated,
ruin everything.
this is a game in which I will give you the name of a beer, and you have to tell me if it's a real beer or a fake thing that I made up, and we will go around Robin style with whoever gets first.
Hold on, I have to ask. Did you do this, or are these James's beers?
These are not James's beers.
Okay.
These are all
So
my own.
do we respond if we know it, or we just...
No, we're going to go in
Gotta
order. I'm
intern,
going to ask
yeah.
each of you for your answer, and then we'll reveal who was correct, who was incorrect, who wins the all expenses paid trip to Beer Busters podcast. We were going to start
What?
to my left.
Yeah, you can help me get home in the flood.
no, you're already here. And the beautiful thing is it's digital, so it's everywhere.
There's the sun.
The sun came out. The sun did come out.
It's finally coming out. Just in time.
And Rich just came
Rich
back
is
with
back with food.
more
Food.
food.
They're empanadas.
Oh, I
Ooh.
would have.
Oh, you went to the empanada place?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
I want
You
empanadas.
didn't ask us.
Yeah.
We wanted food.
Yes, I want empanadas.
Hey, he's my husband, not yours.
So we'll have
Well, if
we'll
he's
have
going
Rich
there anyway.
save one of his empanadas, and that'll be the prize for the game.
They're my empanadas.
Oh, they're
Oh,
your,
that means
I
they're
thought he was
vegan,
getting
which means they're terrible.
He got them for me.
I thought he was just. Well, I assumed
Can
it
we
was
play this damn game already?
food. I assumed it was for Rich. We're going to begin in time, honor, and tradition. To my
You know
left
there's
with
no
my
tilde over the N in empanada, right?
Tilde.
I'm from Berks County. Don't give me shit.
Okay.
Can we play this game now, please?
Dan,
What? Hi.
tell me, is this real or fake?
I'm starting.
Yes, you are the first one to guess.
Oh, shit.
And our first beer of the game is Sugar Salad. Real or fake?
I hope it's fake.
Dan is hoping it's fake. Steph, what do you think?
Real.
Steph saying real. Rob.
Fake.
Rob saying fake. And finally, Jake.
Fake.
Which rhymes with Jake. It is, in fact, fake. It is not real. It is actually
Damn it, my strategy is not working already.
It is something that someone said at work the other day, and I thought it would be a cool name for a funk band. Sugar Salad. Or a beer, I guess.
All right, I'm starting a band.
Moving on, and Steph is going to guess first on this one, and our second beer of the game is Vulgar Display of Flour. Is
Real.
that- all right, Steph is saying that is real. Rob, what do you think?
Real.
Also saying real. Jake. They seem pretty confident in their answers. But are they bluffing?
I'm going with real.
All right, Jake also going real. And finally, Dan.
I think I will say real.
Agree or disagree? Dan says real. Circle gets the square. Everyone is correct because it is real.
Sounds
it is
too
from,
stupid that it has to be real.
It is from
So true.
Equilibrium Brewery in Middletown, New York.
Of course it is.
It is a double IPA
Yeah, that makes sense.
Of course it is.
that, according to the brewery, is a tribute to an aggressive yet balanced assault on the senses.
Oh.
Sounds vulgar.
The name is a reference to Pantera's 6th studio album, Vulgar Display of Power, the cover of which features a close-up photo of a dude getting punched in the face. And according to one source, the man on the cover was paid $10 per punch and was hit in the face 31 times to get the right picture.
Oh my god.
Vulgar Display of Flour. Moving on, our next beer of the game, Rob is going to guess first on this one. Is this real or fake? This is called Lager Rhythmic Curve.
Fake.
Saying that is fake. Jake.
Logarithmic curve.
Don't
I'm
think
actually.
too hard.
I'm gonna go with real on that one.
All right, Jake is saying real. Dan, what do you think?
I think I'll say fake.
Dan will say fake. And finally,
Real.
Steph. Steph is saying real. The fakes have it because it is, in fact,
You did a lot of
Fake.
work for this game.
The curve.
I
The curve
did.
it gets you. Like, it makes no sense. It makes no freaking sense to have lager, whatever curve.
well, okay.
Rhythmic curve.
What goes better with lager than a weird math pun? Probably pizza. But the name has layer, so... Nope.
The empty one.
Oh, the empty one. Steph
what I
wants,
can't see.
Steph wants the empty glass. Is that
that
one
the
right
empty
there?
one?
That's the new game. Find the empty glass behind the iPad. So logarithmic, like logarithmic curve. Anyone? Bueller?
Oh, I get it.
I thought it was funny.
I got it.
I got it.
Yeah, okay, fine. It's an exponential growth that you can dance to and also drink. Because rhythm. As an aside, there is a beer called Lager Rhythm by Black Rocks Brewery, if anyone cares. Moving on to our fourth and mercifully final beer of the game, and Jake is going to guess first on this one.
Oh boy.
You could tie at this point, but not win. This beer is called All Mouth, No Trousers. Is that real or fake?
All mouth, no trousers.
Correct.
That's fake.
Saying that is fake. Dan?
See, here's the thing. I want to say it's fake, but I don't think you would have thought of 75% of these. So I'm going to go real.
All right.
Real.
Dan is saying real. Steph is saying real.
I
and-
am going real.
All right.
Sounds too stupid not to be.
Jake is the only one who was wrong. Because it is, in fact, real. It is an English bitter ale from Twin Elephant Brewing in Chathamboro, New Jersey. Fellow Jersey brewery. In a misguided attempt at some cutesy UK affectation, their description of the beer reads, "Fancy a pint with your mate? We'll get chuffed for our take on an English bitter. This bloke is a touch inflated, more carb and slightly less bitter than a full measure in an English pub, but malt is still left right and center. Soft caramel knocking about with fruity esters."
Wow.
Yeah, that was a whole lot of something. The name is actually an old Britishism that means the same thing as all bark and no bite, but with pants. So we're going to add up the scores really quick and see who our big winners are. We have a Polish pickle parade, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
You were all ready to hit the
I
button.
was so ready for it.
You don't got a sound drop for that one. We've got two people tied for first place with a perfect score, Dan and Rob.
Hey!
4
Cheaters.
out of 4.
All right.
Cheaters.
Congratulations.
Cheaters.
We're just smart.
Tied for second place with a solid 50% hit rate is Steph and Jake with 2 points apiece. I do have a tiebreaker.
Oh, all right.
Is this real or fake? It's called "It Puts the Cucumber on Its Skin or It Gets the Goes Again."
Do we answer at once?
Who goes
or-
first?
It doesn't matter, whatever.
Real.
Fake.
Real. It's real.
Rob wins.
From Seventh
I'm
Son.
going to Beer Busters.
There you go. All
Beer Busters is
expenses.
all
I
around
just
here.
won a Super Bowl. I'm going to Beer Busters.
So that was happy and or fun. This is the part of the podcast, of course, where we shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon. We would like to thank from the very bottom of our hearts the following individuals: James Lamberg, Joseph V. Morano, Joe Mansell,
Oh, yeah.
Brad Diodato,
Filled with yummy goodness.
Eric Dixon,
This is bullshit.
Nate Fochtman,
Bacon.
Brian Mills, Wolfgang Von Colt.
Let's get one that's deep in that gravy.
You're welcome. Jen McDonald,
As soon as you put it in your mouth, you totally get the banana.
Marilyn Engelman,
Oh, no, hold on.
Tofurkey.
Josh Price.
You guys want a bonus beer?
Sure. Ron McDonald.
You're the best around. No one ever let you down.
And Victoria Miles.
And don't try it, motherfuckers.
If you want to be part of this party, go to patreon.com/beerbusters and sign up to become a patron of the podcast.
Yes, do that. But as for now, I think we have to settle up.
Let's settle up.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
This episode of Beer Busters is brought to you in part by Audible. You know Audible. They have over 180,000 audiobooks for you to download and listen to. And right now, listeners of Beer Busters podcast can go to audibletrial.com/beerbusters and start a free 30-day trial of Audible and get one free audiobook to download and keep till the end of days. Go to audibletrial.com/beerbusters.
This episode of Beer Busters is brought to you in part by Vinyl Me Please. Vinyl Me Please is a Record of the Month club. It is the best damn record club, in fact. Every month, VMP features one album that is essential to the modern vinyl collection and sends it to thousands of members worldwide. Artists include Betty Davis, Kevin Morby, Fiona Apple, Beck, Gorillaz, and I myself am the proud owner of a special marble copy of Weezer's Pinkerton, thanks to Vinyl Me Please.
Which is a good album.
Which is a great album. Each record is pressed exclusively for VMP members with features you can't get anywhere else. Things like bonus tracks, inserts, colored variants, and comes packed with a 12x12 album-inspired art print and a custom cocktail pairing recipe. And they know that trusting someone else to curate your record collection can be pretty scary. And of course, you've had your whole life to fine-tune your taste, and they certainly don't want to get in the way. That's why they feature swaps, where you can exchange a featured record with one from the VMP archives or a limited set of store titles. That way, even though you're trying new things, you won't be forced to take a title you already have or know in advance that isn't right for you. There's no contracts, no strings, no guilt trips, no fees, and you get top-shelf customer service to make sure you get the answers and help you need as soon as humanly possible. So if you want to sign up for VMP, which you will not regret, head over to joinvmp.com/beerbusters to sign up today. That is joinvmp.com/beerbusters.
No, your beers. No, your beers.
So I know I always ask Steph what you have and what's going on and what's up, but I actually know this time what's up.
Show me what you got.
Did I tell you, or did you actually read my freaking notes for once?
I usually read your note and just kind of lead into it with a question, but we also teased this earlier in this episode.
Oh, touche. I forgot already.
So the listeners also know.
That's true. So, Oktoberfest.
Yay!
Märzen. Have you ever wondered the difference? Well, Chris Guest wrote a very informative article called Oktoberfest versus Märzen for the beer connoisseur, so let's learn from him.
I read the same thing.
Hey!
Nice. It's a great article. So in 2004, in that iteration of the BJCP style guidelines, these two styles were lumped into a single category despite their differences. Currently, in the 2015 style book, Oktoberfest has been replaced by the Fest beer category, which is usually lighter in color and body and represents the modern interpretation of beers served at Munich's original Oktoberfest celebration. While the Oktoberfest style is no longer an official BJCP category, that doesn't stop innumerable breweries from using the moniker to describe their fall seasonals. Oftentimes, in this case, an Oktoberfest beer also happens to be a Märzen. How is this possible?
Well, I don't know.
The short version is, there is no difference. According to the 2015 BJCP guidelines, Oktoberfest and Märzen are technically the same thing. The only reason for the difference is in nomenclature is the legality of the term Oktoberfest beer, which is a protected appellation for beer produced at large breweries within the Munich city limits for consumption at Oktoberfest. Despite this fact, it hasn't stopped thousands of breweries from using the term Oktoberfest to describe their fall seasonals, which are technically Märzens.
It's like Parmesan cheese.
Touche. The Märzen style is a malty amber European-style lager that can trace the roots all the way back to 1841. When
To clarify, it doesn't taste like cheese.
The Märzen style is a multi-amber European-style lager that can trace the roots all the way back to 1841, when Spaten created the first recipe for the style. Märzen became the official beer of Munich's Oktoberfest in 1872, a tradition that lasted over 100 years when it was replaced by the lighter-body, golden-colored Fest beer in the 1990 Oktoberfest. Märzens offer a nose often with hints of sweetness, but the rich, bready, toasty malts lead to a moderately bitter and quite dry finish. Hop aromas are non-existent and hop flavors are low or not present, though they do serve as an important counterpart to the hefty malt bill. While American brewers preferred to make Märzen Oktoberfest, Fest beers are now the official style for Munich's Oktoberfest celebration. Fest beers are typified by fragrant hop aromas, a bright golden color, and a smooth, slightly creamy mouthfeel. This beer will be doughy and crisp with a soft, elegant sweetness. The Fest beer style was first created by Paulaner brewers in the 1970s as a less filling version of the Märzen Oktoberfest. Fest beers are far less malty, less intense, and lighter in body than Märzens, which makes the style perfect for swilling at Munich's Oktoberfest. Despite this, the darker, richer, and heartier Märzen Oktoberfest style is here to stay in craft beer. And it must be said, no matter what the origin, it is quite delicious. So, let's drink some Oktoberfest. So we have in our glasses Yuengling's iteration of the Märzen Oktoberfest style, which is one of our favorite Pennsylvania seasonal beers. So, Prost.
Prost.
Ein Prosit.
When we left Yuengling, I bought a case of the Pilsner. Wayne bought a case of the Oktoberfest.
Well done.
And they're both delicious, but this beer is just so good.
This might be my favorite Yuengling beer, period.
It could be up there. Yeah.
I really like this.
I'll allow it.
It's allowed. So it's delicious. We love it. It's a great beer. I love the Märzen style. I have never been to the Munich Oktoberfest, as many may be shocked to hear.
Business trip.
Well, I unfortunately can't travel that time of the year, but I have been to Germany many times, and
Wait,
I do
business trip?
enjoy
Okay.
their lighter beers. But going to many Oktoberfests in America, this is what we think of as an Oktoberfest beer, and it is quite delicious.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. This is definitely well done for the style, and I'm definitely thoroughly enjoying it. So,
Don't they do a Bach too?
yeah, they do a nice Bach as well.
Yeah,
I think
I saw that somewhere.
Yuengling makes a lot of great beer.
They are America's oldest brewery, after all.
True.
I mean, they make a lot of great beer, and yeah, they are America's oldest brewery, so obviously they're doing something right.
They know what they're doing.
But no, I this is really a nice characterization of the style.
I'm excited.
And this is one of my favorite styles of beer too.
Oh,
yeah.
So it's like, I love this as far as like a taste of fall is concerned.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
I kind of hate that it only ever really comes around in the fall, but it kind of matches the season. Maybe it's because they only come around then. But it's thicker, it's maltier.
My favorite thing I think about the Oktoberfest / Märzen style is that it's something you can look forward to drinking in the fall when you're avoiding all the fucking pumpkin beers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
We're releasing a pumpkin beer soon.
Oh, no.
Of course you are.
No, I think I saw that on the website. Pumpkin beers have a time and place, but I feel like they're overdone, but it's good. It's good, you know?
That was convincing.
Yeah, but our cans look kick ass.
Oh, the can is
yeah,
quite
that is cool.
Yeah.
That's
it is
awesome.
It is a great beer, though.
There are pumpkin beers that I like. I will openly
There are good
admit
pumpkin
that.
beers, just like there's good New England IPAs. It's just, it's not the style. It's not necessarily all the beers. It's just
The cultural appropriation
the
of it.
fever over it, and the mounds of pumpkin in July in stores.
I haven't seen a single pumpkin beer yet this year.
Oh, pumpkin,
I haven't been
pumpkin
looking.
is out.
Of course
It's
it is.
been out.
It's been out. Yeah.
It's just a fucking year round at this point.
So
Might as well be.
there's more ship bottom beer that we would like to drink.
That's true. That's true.
Let's do that.
Beer me! Beer me! Beer me! Beer me!
Round 2, fight.
Oh, there's another wipeout. I almost said tidal wave, but not
No,
quite.
Tsunami's going to be next.
Tsunami's the next one, but this is the
Tidal
wipeout.
wave will be 24.
Wow.
Oh man, I don't know where the list. Oh, Wayne's got it. What's the first beer that's up? Is that the delicious looking dark one?
Yeah, that's a Barnacle Bottom Stout. I'll let Jake talk about that one a little bit.
Yeah, so it's a, it's like a chocolate and coffee stout, 8.5%. I get a lot of the chocolate and coffee flavors just from using the malts, really.
Is there no actual coffee in it?
No, actually.
We used to use coffee, but now we use coffee malts.
Yeah. I guess the original recipe included chocolate and coffee, and I was just thinking we could get all those flavors from the malt. So that's what I like to do. Actually, is just try to design a flavor profile based around using the ingredients that are typically used in beer.
I like that.
I think it's more interesting to have a beer where you get like notes of chocolate, notes of coffee, but none of that's actually in there, and it's just the malts and the way the yeast interacts with it. Yeah,
it's actually one of my favorites for sure. Definitely a lot of oats in there, so it's essentially a breakfast stout. It's a really nice beer. It's one of my favorites, actually.
it is really good.
But we can't call it breakfast stout because we'll get sued.
Right.
You get another cease and
not a
desist.
breakfast stout.
Did you frame your?
That's a bacon error because that's basically the same beer with maple syrup and bacon in it.
Didn't I see
Nice.
that there was a barrel aged baconator at one point?
Yeah, way back when I was out of my garage. Only.
Wow.
Yeah,
If I deliver
barrel-aged,
bourbon
that's-
to you, can you barrel age it for me?
yeah. We could do whatever we want.
That is like Dan's spirit beer. Barrel aged bacon imperial stout.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was funny when we first released
With maple
the Baconator, we were garnishing it with bacon in here, and there was actually a snowstorm down here, and I was surprised. We had a good reception.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people came in, the bottle release, it did really well.
Interesting. Well, I mean, you get bacon garnish. I think people will come. Have bacon, people will come.
Well, Two Rivers, they give free bacon at happy hour.
If you bacon, they will come.
I forgot about that.
How did
and
you
he
forget
invited
about?
us back up to brew another beer with him.
I'm
Just
in.
saying.
I'm in. If bacon's involved.
We're all in.
Anyway, I like this beer a lot. It's delicious.
This is really good.
It speaks to me on so many levels.
I like that it's easier. It's easier to drink than the Imperial Stout, which is really good. But it's still 8 point something or other.
8.5.
8.5. Yeah.
I had this at the fest at Manayunk Brewing 2 years ago.
Oh, nice.
Apparently, you guys were there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And this is the end of that.
Apparently.
I'm glad you took the time out of your day
To go to a beer fest.
Thanks, Untapped.
Oh my.
Well, when people give me free tickets to things, it's
so
hard
here,
to say no.
Here's what I'm thinking. Of all the beers we've had so far, and we obviously have more to try. We've only had 2 dark beers, and they've both been really good. And you worked at Duck Rabbit, so I think you should make more darker beers.
I agree.
We make a lot of darker beers, just not
in the summer.
In the summer,
Okay.
Makes sense.
Fair enough.
We switch gears and do a lot of the fruitier beers.
Mm-hmm.
We did make a coconut porter. That's all gone. So bummer for you guys.
So too bad you missed it.
Baltic Porter was exceptional. We don't
I was
have
going
any
to
of
say,
that
have
in
you done a
Walken, do we?
Baltic?
Yeah.
Do we have any in a walk-in? The Baltic Porter?
The Baltic Porter is
I'd
my
go
favorite
look,
dark
actually.
beer.
Okay.
There might be. I did find one in the walk.
Can I say I respect that Rob is
I don't know
always the
why.
one that gets up and goes and gets shit.
It's pretty awesome.
Not many owners will
That
do
could be a good last call beer.
I mean,
Or right now beer.
Or sure, that's
I
it.
know that there was at least one in there, and I found it, and I don't know what happened to it after that.
My favorite beers are the
You
ones.
drank it?
My favorite beers are
be
the ones
honest.
where we go to breweries. Like, you know what? I have a bottle of that in a corner somewhere. I forgot about
Yeah.
it. We just break it out. That's always so much fun.
We actually we do that occasionally here. Occasionally.
Occasionally, random forgotten beers.
No, it's really cool. You know, it's nice that people appreciate what we do because
I thought you finished it. I was going to punch you.
no.
Oh, well.
No.
Swing and a miss.
My heart is sad. Well, don't finish that because I want to save a little of that for later.
Well, how is that with your Tres Leches?
It's freaking amazing
Of
with
course
the
it is.
Tres Leches
I'm
cake.
We
sure it
actually
is.
do a pin that I love. It's an old-fashioned pin. So we'll take that stout and add cherries and burnt orange peel in there. So it's like
Ooh,
a Manhattan or old-fashioned.
An old-fashioned, yeah.
It's awesome.
So you said you're going to open potentially opening a satellite location in Philly at some point with that PA license, right?
Yeah.
Please have that there.
Okay. I definitely will.
All right,
I
good.
definitely will.
And the Baltic Porter.
I will
Yeah.
never, ever leave. I promise you.
Put some bacon in that and put it in a bourbon barrel.
We have a pretty cool place
Did we-
scouted out right now. I'm meeting with the owner of the place on Tuesday, so hopefully it goes well and they'll agree. But I think you guys will be kind of astounded where we're going if it works out.
Oh,
How-
really?
Are we looking at like South Philly? Are we looking
Well, this is Delaware County first, but then we'll
okay.
get one in Philly.
All right.
Right.
All right. Delco's not too far from where
Right
we
next to the Acme on Oregon Avenue.
The Acme.
You said it, not me. You said it.
The Acme.
Acme.
Rob,
Acme.
how do we feel about? Have they tasted the wooden jetty?
No, I could get one of those out. Yeah, sure.
You can get a
The
bottle.
What is
Should I
that?
get out of the fridge or should I get a warm one?
I'd get one out of the fridge.
Okay. All right, I'll grab one.
Well,
I'll let
let's
Jake
talk
talk
about
about it.
this
I'm just
next.
running around while Jake's.
That's fine.
Well,
Jake's
I
my
mean,
boss.
I can go get it.
No, it's fine.
That's fine. You've been on the show before. Let's talk to
Rob's
Jake.
Rob's is awesome.
Rob's is awesome.
Rob's.
And I've been sharing samples with you.
Yeah.
Damn it. I hope Rich can get us home. So this is Stupid Paddle Boat IPA.
Yes.
Session IPA.
Oh,
Tell us about the
session
beer and tell us about the name. Thank God it's a session beer.
I know, right?
So, actually, Rob would be better to talk about the name.
Damn
course
it,
he would.
Rob. Well, tell us about the beer.
The beer, it's brewed with, it's our session IPA, so I keep it very, very, very simple. It's brewed with just a little bit of pale ale malt and some carapils to give it, at least some sort of body, and then mostly oats, actually. So you use the oats to get that chewiness from it. So even though it's 4.7% alcohol, you're getting that chewiness that you would get out of a higher alcohol beer. And then beyond that, and it's like what really shines is the hops that we use. So it's Mandarina Bavaria and Azaka hops. And the Azakas are really, really interesting. It's the first time I've ever worked with them. And I feel like I get a huge like pineapple hit out of it. Yeah. But, we have a lot of our regular customers and stuff like that they just don't get pineapple at all. But everybody's palate is different. So.
I'll admit, I didn't get it until you said it, but now I only kind of get it.
It was like the peach earlier with the brewed IPA. Yeah. When you said peach, I was like,
it's the power of suggestion.
It is.
Now, IPAs are I won't even order them anymore because I'm so over them. But this is really refreshing to me. It reminds me why I used to like IPAs.
Yeah. I try to keep it low bitterness, and then the hops that we use are pretty interesting.
I mean, there's still good ones out there. This is very good.
Can we point out Rob's not fucking around?
He's not. No, he just cracked that bottle right the fuck open.
Oh, look at that pour. Oh, God.
We're talking about dark beers.
Forget the rest of the wipeout. We're jumping
I don't know
right
what's
into
happening
this.
now. This is crazy. We're off the rails. And those are big pours, even for the sample glasses.
You're sharing with me.
Fuck you.
Oh, no, he's getting his own. Dan can hang.
Dan can hang.
Hang 10, bro.
Yeah, we'll let it warm for a little bit.
All right, fair enough. Okay, that sounds good. So we'll set
I
that
have to
aside.
be behaved. Sorry.
Set that aside.
Oh, my goodness.
If anyone wants to help me with the several beers I haven't finished over here, please feel free.
I just knew this is how this day was going to go.
Probably, yeah.
I went back.
You walked into a brewery.
Well, no.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to sit and drink with Rob. He brought more beers to the table than anyone else when we were at AC Beer Fest, than anyone else.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
It was funny. I was walking through, and people were looking at me because we had the waves, which are 4 beers on a surfboard. And people were getting pissed off at me. And they were like, "Where'd you get that? How'd you get that?"
Yeah, how do you get those?
And they were like, and I'm trying to get through with people bumping me.
I own a brewery.
Yeah, so I was going to say, how do you get those? You open a fucking brewery and come pour at the fest.
You're just like, I fucking made it. Shut up and go home.
It's my beer. Like, literally.
I was just actually worried we didn't have a bottle opener in the brewery because we do all cans.
Yeah.
Of course, you have the obligatory Dogfish Head analog beer.
Because I was stressed out. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to open.
Is that the analog beer for the digital age?
You don't have one on your keychain?
I might, but I don't know where my keys are.
I do.
I didn't drive here. I'm going to Uber home. So.
Well, I leave that in this cooler,
Yeah,
and
we-
now since
left
our
my-
last
That's smart.
episode,
I always have it on my
What do you
keyring,
have?
just
I
in
now
case.
also have one of these in my cooler.
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
because
Oh,
Rich went out and got you
corkscrew.
one of those.
Because stupid brewers have to cap and cork their beers now.
It was
It's
funny.
like, surprise.
It was funny when we were doing the Wooden Jetty, which is our barrel age, a stout. I talked to Jake, and he was like, "No, I want to bottle it. I want to bottle." I'm like, "We have a canning line. Why don't we just can it?" "No, I want to bottle it." Then he gets done bottling, and he's like, "Oh, I'll never bottle again.
It's never happening.
Never do it."
Never bottling again.
Awful.
I wanted to bottle it because we had about a 7-barrel yield, and our canning line it's slightly oversized for what we do. It would be nice if we could do like 30 barrels at a time. But we have it pretty much dialed in now where there's minimal waste. And, I was thinking 7 barrels. It's like we've been aging this beer for, what was it, 6 months? In
6,
the
9
barrel?
months, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 6 months in the barrel. And I'm like, I don't want any of it to go down the drain. And the easiest way to do that is just to bottle it by hand. And, no, I won't ever do that again.
Where did you manage to keep barrels in here? It's kind of packed. Well,
Against the wall over that way.
There's a vertical barrel over there, but
over against the wall over that way.
over there.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So did I tell you that?
There's other pallets there right now, but there used to be barrels.
So we actually had a bad general contractor when we came in here and we were trying to open a place. So Jake walked in. He told you about the horror story when he came in, couldn't get the equipment on the building. And then we had a contractor that was from Pennsylvania that wouldn't show up on the job, and we had to get open. So I guess this was back in May, June. Jake joined in June, and by July 1st, I'm like, hey, you know what? We have to do all the contracting at this point. So, Jake, you got to tile that wall over there. And that was the first time he tiled. And it actually looked spectacular. He did a great job with that. We were doing drywall. We were doing FRP. Sanding down things. We did everything to finish the brewery while the contractor never showed up.
I remember when you came in to tile the wall, though, too.
Yeah.
It's like you came in with a bunch of tile, and the adhesive, whatever the hell it's called now.
Yeah.
And
Sticky stuff.
Well,
the sticky
you're
stuff.
not a towel guy, so you wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
You stick the
And-
beer.
Elmer's glue.
I still don't know what FRP
No,
means.
But
No,
you
I don't
came
either.
you came into I just remember you like rolling through the brewery, and you came in and you're just like, we need to get this done, and like you started putting the adhesive on the wall, and then like put the tile like in the middle of the wall, and like started from there. And
Yeah, I
I'm like
basically messed up.
Yeah, and I'm like watching you, and I'm like, I don't think that's right. I don't.
It's middle out.
How you do it?
But I looked
Silicon
impressive
Valley.
how I came in. That's all
Yeah.
that was important. I looked like boss man.
It was yeah.
What'd
I mean,
you do when the tiles didn't fit at the bottom?
Cut the tile.
I cut him.
I mean, we just had to fix it.
Yeah.
He moved the floor down.
Yeah,
We
actually-
actually,
the one bathroom's like we had to just
Don't need
demolish
tiles
it and
down
start
there.
over.
Yeah, yeah.
It was bad.
It was all bad, and like everybody was losing their minds. It was
Now you know when you open your Pennsylvania location.
yeah. It's like we've learned a huge lesson from that first summer 2016. I learned so much.
And it was funny because with Jersey, the licensing is so much harder. Actually, we got our full license 2 days ago, after 2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
wow. Really?
Wow.
Yes.
So this is
I,
all-
I
this-
see your faces. You could ask me questions on that. But 2 days ago, we have
So
full
wait.
licensing.
So this was all illegal until Wednesday.
Yeah, we're basically moonshiners.
Why did it
Now
take that long?
Yeah, we had a temporary license, and it just took a while to approve our temporary license. So 2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
No,
I just don't want to get into it, but
Fair enough.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, you can ask me
You can
questions.
ask me questions,
but
but
I'm not
don't.
going to answer them.
yeah. You're gonna just shake my. I'll tell you when to get off the podcast.
All right. It's all fair story.
Fair enough.
So we have another beer.
Yeah, you want to
Yes.
we want to sip another beer? Oh man,
While we're waiting for the one that I really want to drink
Quite
to
the lineup going on
warm
here.
up.
It's funny because when we talked about it with Jake, I got approved 2 days ago, and I told him a day later, and I'm like, I wanted to celebrate, but I felt like it just wasn't worth celebrating at that point. 'cause
No,
it took so
really,
long.
it's like
so uneventful.
yeah. You showed it to me, and I was like, finally,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
We've already been doing it for so long.
this
you know?
literally changes nothing.
Right.
So we are now drinking The Shack,
Okay.
which we had at AC Beer Fest.
We did, and this was like your OG IPA, right? Like
Yeah,
this
this
was
is
like
this is a
It's
West
also-
Coast style.
It's the beer that pays the bills too.
Yeah.
West Coast style, Citra, Simcoe, Mosaics, 6% alcohol, very drinkable. And this is a beer I actually challenged Jake with. When I was home brewing, we had 7.6 for this. It was between a single and a double, but it got to be the point that it just was too expensive to make for a single.
right.
And I said to Jake, let's go back and kind of re-architect the recipe. And he looked at me like I was crazy, but came back with a great beer.
Yeah.
Now you said
Keep challenging me.
it's like a West Coast beer, and it is, but it's not. It's not as bitter.
No.
I feel like as a true
No.
West Coast
Nope.
style.
Nope. Very drinkable.
Because
very
those of us
palatable.
on the East Coast can't handle that anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like the New England style.
we can't take the bitterness.
No.
It's quite tasty though.
Do you remember the Meisterbrow ads? Bitter beer face?
Oh yeah, bitter
Oh
beer
my
face.
God, yeah.
That's what it's like on the East Coast.
Don't want bitter beer face? Drink an orange milkshake IPA.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole milkshake thing.
It brings all the boys to the yard.
Yeah.
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 I'm waiting for the add your own lactose bar.
No comment.
I feel like I should at least buy him some empanadas.
Yeah.
There's no Tilde. It's empanada, not nyada.
There is no Enya in there. It's
Yeah,
just
it's empanadas.
Don't fucking. I'll say.
I lived with a guy who's Puerto Rican. I know how it's pronounced.
That doesn't
'cause he
mean I
said
have
it
to
every
pronounce it
day.
correctly.
And I don't mean that
Our
as a stereotype,
listeners
like,
know
legit,
after
yes.
150 episodes that I don't pronounce things correctly.
If there's a squiggly line above the end, then it's empanadas.
Well, I put a Tilde above it. Sorry.
No!
Sorry.
We're not going to
She
change
also-
the
she
word
also-
that's been
Sorry.
around for ages.
Sorry.
She also
Get
stuck
over
an
it.
umlaut.
You don't sound
in
very
there.
sorry.
I do stick umlauts in words a lot.
Just for the hell of it.
Just for the hell of it.
I
Just
mean,
for the
why
hell
not?
of it.
It doesn't matter.
Hey, there's another beer on the paddle.
Let's drink it.
It's not a paddle,
Maybe-
it's a wipeout.
It's
maybe
a surfboard.
the-
Come on now.
Maybe the wooden jetty is warmed up.
Well, I feel like we should drink the Hefe before we drink that.
Ooh, yeah, probably.
I almost
enough.
went for that, and I forgot Wayne needed it.
Do I really? Oh, it smells really good, though.
So we had this at AC Beer Fest with you, but it was the mojito version.
Yeah.
So
that
this
was
is just
lime.
the-
Yep. This is the
Straight.
regular version, which is our summer beer. So it's just a
Oh my
German
God.
wheat Hefeweizen. A lot of bananas, a little bit of clove with fermentation.
One thing I actually wanted to ask you guys earlier, as we're going through the beers, being that you are like a beach town brewery, and a lot of your at least in-house business comes in the summertime, do you sort of like formulate your recipes to kind of evoke summer and like something you can drink on the beach? I mean, obviously not everything you guys do is in that vein, but a lot of the lighter stuff you guys do like has a cool like beach town vibe to it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I personally am a very seasonal beer drinker, and I know a lot of other people are as well. So, I mean, when it comes to summertime, yeah, we're gonna make a lot of different like fruit beers, and I try to make it like crisp and refreshing, and because it's a fruit beer doesn't mean that it's gonna be dry and crisp and refreshing. I mean, look at the Founder's Rubaeus, for example. It's very thick and potent with the fruit, and it's just a different style of fruit beer. And for us, I always just try to make ours very crisp and refreshing. I always try to think of like, what would I want to drink on the beach?
Yeah.
What wouldn't I want to drink on the beach?
Well, what's really cool is like to sit here and sip a lot of these lighter, crisper, drier beers that we've been having, and look out the window and see the water, and just feel like this really fits.
Yeah.
The water.
The water.
There's no tilde in that word.
Seeing Wooders, Delaware County, that's where I'm from. So.
See, there you go. If I were going to questionably legally purchase a Crowler and take it wherever I damn well please, this would be the beer that I would get.
The Heavy?
Look at the water, maybe from closer to the water.
Well, that one's one of our regulars, so you don't even have to do that. You can just like grab a 4-pack out of the cooler.
Oh, there's 4
There you go.
packs.
Even easier.
And you could jump on the raft shuttle when there's a flood.
And we have a blood orange, which I don't have on the Wipeout, but that's one of the other beers we do.
Ooh.
It's really good.
Nice.
Very requested.
So we have a bonus beer.
This is the extra one.
Rob couldn't help himself.
You guys want a bonus beer?
No, it's Jake's idea, actually.
I'm
Jake's beer bitch.
Thanks, Jake.
I'm actually full of terrible ideas.
No, this was a great idea. So I think this beer was mostly for Dan.
This is the Wooden Jetty. It's our Barnacle Bottom Stout aged in bourbon barrels.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
And it's named after a famous surf
holy
spot down south of us.
It's very dangerous. I don't keep it in close proximity to myself because it does me dirty.
It does me dirty.
Dare I ask?
I'm writing that down.
No, just don't.
All right.
He rides dirty.
86 is the answer.
Better not be 86.
I like that you have the New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
That's actually really cool.
The
we
overlay.
have shirts like that,
Overlay.
too. We have shirts that we sell that have the logo on it.
I like
The outline of both states on top of each other.
I'd have people that had weddings that the groom was from New Jersey and the bride was from PA, and they basically wanted to use our logo, so we did that.
Oh, that's
Aw.
cool.
That's really cool.
That's really neat. So you said this Wooden Jetty?
Yeah,
Is that
Wooden
what it is?
Jetty. It's
Okay.
a surf spot that's south of here.
Okay. As in wooden
Yeah.
jetty.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't actually look at the name on the bottom. Okay, on the bottle.
Yeah, so there's a wooden jetty on
All
the
right.
bottle with some seagulls. And
I think I have
Seagulls,
to ask the
barrels.
question I didn't want to ask. What is the ABV? Besides a lot.
The ABV is a lot.
That's the safest answer you
That's
could give.
either he doesn't know or he doesn't want to tell you.
Yeah, this
oh,
was
not
a-
as much as I thought it was.
this was aged in Heaven Hill barrels.
Oh, Heaven Hill.
It's double digits, though, right?
You don't know what it is, do you? 8.4.
Now the
That's
one,
not
really?
as high as I
Not
would
as
have thought.
bad as I thought.
Holy wow.
No,
All
the
Wait,
beer,
but Untapped says 11.
the beer that we put into the barrels was 8.4.
Okay. Well, yeah, but I mean,
The bottle is lying to us.
But we've had this conversation before. Like, it doesn't actually pick up that much more alcohol content in the barrel.
Unless you ask Untapped.
I guess it depends on how wet the barrel is.
Untapped is the Wikipedia of beer. Anybody can say anything.
Oh, I 100%
I
agree
feel
with
like
you.
11 is safe.
All right, let's go with 11.
If people on Untapped think that it's 11, then I don't feel like I'm doing them wrong or anything.
So the one stout I'm excited about Jake doing is our Mexican stout.
Ooh.
And we got rated 94% on that.
Ooh,
beer.
very nice.
Yeah, it's
And it's not here now.
Now we do it in November, so he's going to start.
So we're
putting
coming
the
back in
tank
November.
soon. And then we're going to do a variation where we put in tequila barrels.
And what peppers are in this?
Chipotle and ancho. So 2 smoked peppers.
That sounds delicious.
Cinnamon, vanilla bean.
As well as chocolate and
Chocolates.
coffee.
Yeah.
Wow. That sounds
It's
really good.
exceptional.
Yeah.
I'll come back in November.
Oh,
I was really,
that sounds amazing.
I made it for the first time last year, and I was really, really happy with the way that one turned out.
Good.
It would pair
It's like-
very well with Trace Luttrell's
Yeah.
cake.
I actually, when we went to the GABF the first year, we went to Stone, and I had their Mexican stout, and I was blown away. So when I came back the first year, and I said to Jake, "Let's do this," we couldn't get in the schedule. And the second year, we did it, and I'm blown away. Like, it's my favorite beer that we brew here. It's
really
exceptional.
Yeah. And I'm really pleased and happy with it too, because I mean, there's a lot of beers that I brew that I'm happy with, but also I know the next time I brew it, there's certain tweaks that I want to make. You know, and this is one of those like golden occasions where I'm gonna brew it the exact same way that I did last year. You know,
That's awesome.
I'm like, wow, nailed it, like first time. It's like a whole
Next
hole
time
in
you'll be
one
like,
right
don't
there.
fuck it up, don't fuck it up, don't fuck it up.
Yeah, now I'm just nervous. But yeah, I'm really, really, really happy with that one.
If people want to find you, you are shipbottombrewery.com.
Yes.
On Twitter, you are Ship Bottom Brew, and on the Insta and Facebook, you are Ship Bottom Brewery. Any other releases or events coming up that you want to plug, let people know about?
Yeah, banana cream pie is tomorrow, Saturday.
So get your DeLorean.
Yeah,
and
So
come back.
last week in podcast time.
Yeah, so it's coming out. We're ready to go. We had some on tap tonight. They got it finished right away.
So
Bitches.
We'll have the Chowder Fest Ale that we talked about, Oyster Fest.
the clam malt liquor.
It's gonna be a clam malt liquor.
You say that in such a disgusting.
malt liquor.
I love saying that. Rob lets me make those sort of beers so that I can be ridiculous.
We'll do an Oyster Stout. We're going to do the Baconator.
Yes.
A barley wine, New Year's Eve,
Mexican
Russian Imperial
stout.
Stout. Yeah,
I'm gonna
Mexican
make
stout.
for the fall time too. I'm gonna make a chai brown ale.
Oh,
that sounds good.
lovely.
It's on the books.
Yeah.
It actually sounds really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
And then we have a beach party. It'll be the second annual beach party in January. So we pumped up the heat in here to 85 degrees. Last year it was phenomenal. I was surprised. People came in their bathing
Yeah,
suits.
we had
that's cool.
we had a really
Bathing suits.
good really good turnout.
Yeah.
And the glycol's just running constantly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
What are you doing?
it's running constantly anyway.
Oh, touche. But less so in the winter. This
That's
was fun,
true.
guys. Thanks for having us
Yeah,
out.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
It's
so
nice
much.
to have more than just like 10 minutes with you, Rob,
Yeah.
to actually hear the full story.
Yeah.
I listened back to the interview before we came down, and I was like, wow, that was fast.
Yeah,
So-
we were sprinting through it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were
you,
trying all the
You
beers
brought
and-
a shit ton of beer to the table,
Yeah,
so
we-
that took up most of the time.
You guys
but-
were overwhelmed. We were like, whoa, I don't know if we can handle this all right now.
I think I said it then. When you came up with the 2 waves, I didn't realize that they were all different beers. I thought it was like 2 flights of the same. Like,
the same beers,
It's a
yeah.
clone of the other flight, but no, like
That was,
you partied.
We
we wanted to fuck you up.
Dude, it was fun.
And it
we
worked.
had a very tight schedule that we mostly stuck to,
Mostly.
surprisingly.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Because we had a lot of interviews we wanted to squeeze in, but it was definitely memorable, and I'm glad that we got to come down here to the brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah. As Rob throws shit across the bar.
On that note,
Yes.
I love that. You know how much I throw stuff at them.
I do want to remind our listeners that on Saturday, October 20th, we will be at the Reading Liederkranz. We will be recording during a beer fest there.
Yes.
That will feature a lot of amazing Pennsylvania craft breweries, as well as free samples of local homebrews from Burke's Homebrew, Brooklier Homebrew, and Lancaster Homebrew. And 2 of the beers I have already brewed. Our dear
Nice.
patrons, Eric, Braun, and I have
Yeah.
brewed a Pilsner and a Weizenbock. We may do one more. So come out, enjoy some great beer. Come say hi to us. There's going to be amazing food, live music, Saturday, October 20th. Get your tickets now.
Will you and Rich be in Dirtle and Lederhosen?
I plan to wear a dirndl, whichever
right.
one fits me at that time.
Rich is not wearing Lederhosen, apparently.
I have 5 dirndls in various sizes.
Oh, Rich is boycotting Oktoberfest.
Yes, because Rami is not coming to the States this year. So
boo.
Oh,
he's very sad.
yeah.
He's very
Yeah.
sad. Very sad.
It'll be okay.
His backup life.
You've been talking about your Pilsner for a while. I can't wait to try this.
What if they get Katy Perry instead?
then he's back in.
I'll work on that.
As long as she wears a dirndl. Well, for those of you...
Or less than that.
For those of you out there in the podcast land, which, hey, that happens to be all of you listening to this right now, don't forget, as well as all the places you can find Ship Bottom Brewery, you can also find Beer Busters. Hey, look at that. Beer Busters podcast on Facebook, at Beer Busters on Twitter and Instagram. BeerBustersPodcast.com, 805-991-BEER, which is 805-991-2337. Rob, you did not leave and call.
Oh, maybe
I
he
wanted
did.
to.
He might have.
I felt bad.
He went to get beer a couple
You
of
did
times.
get up
Yeah.
a couple times. You may have
I didn't
called.
get any notifications, but it's okay. I will forgive you because you have supplied all of this amazing beer.
Yeah. Don't forget Patreon.
Patreon.com/beerbuzzers. If you thought that this episode has kind of gone,
Derailed.
I wasn't going to use that word, but sure, it's derailed. Just wait till last call.
Fucking train wreck.
Wait till last call, and you can be part of last call. You can experience last call for as little as $1 a month.
You can. And you know what else is cool? Like, we have, like, actual patron, like, rewards. Oh, you donate this much, you get this reward or whatever. But we also, like, it's a small community where, like, you can be a part of the podcast. My millennial is showing. So we have patrons that make recommendations.
You're an elder millennial.
Yeah. For things we should do on the show, patrons that submit content for us to have on the show, things like that. So, like, just being a patron, you can also participate in the conversation and the creation of all things Beer Busters.
And if you don't feel like being part of the Patreon, although
Then
you should,
fuck you.
No, not that. Don't listen to Steph. She did not mean that at all. She's just drunk. If
Seemed
you
like she
could,
meant that.
at the very
It was
least,
very sincere.
leave a rating and a review on your podcast app of choice, whether it's the Apple one or Spotify or iHeartRadio or Stitcher or wherever you listen to it. Just throw down a rating. Hopefully it's a 5-star, but it's your prerogative. Make it a 5-star.
I didn't mean it. I'm sorry.
See, she just apologized, and
I'm
it
just
sounded
sad that I'm probably not going to get home tonight.
it sounded sort of legit.
If you want to help Steph pump all the water out of her basement, please donate to Patreon.
I don't care if there's water in my basement. I just want to get to my house.
Yeah. Well, on that note, that does bring us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters. And guys, seriously, thank you so much for having us out here. This was incredible.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming here.
Of course. And hopefully we'll at least get to return maybe as civilians in November to try the Mexican
and the basement
stout.
might be gone. Just saying.
Basement might be gone. Who knows? Things happen. Well, I am Dan Baker, and I am joined by my co-host, Andrewologist.
Steph Hefner.
And, of course, the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
Remember, no squids were harmed in the making of this episode, and I still have 14 seconds I need to talk through, which I did not plan out.
Maybe I could ride a squid home.
Enjoy. You could.
Ride a squid.
I think.
I bet you would do.
We'll see you next time.
Wow, wipeouts and whippets.
It does me dirty.